tell you, it's a Friday like it's never been. We've never had a Friday like this, ever. I think it's a good thing for you. That's right. A Friday in November where you get the Masters. Not only do you get the Masters, you get a round and a half of the Masters. And what a leaderboard we've got. You've got the college football playoff looking at it potentially expanding. You've got your two local all of your local college basketball teams, major, Division I, looking at going somewhere else. Oh, and JJ, it's Friday the 13th in the year 2020. What could possibly go wrong? What's good, y'all? It's the opening drive at 95.9 FM and AM 610 Sports Animal. And we're coming off of a interesting game last night in which the Colts made a statement in the AFC South, which really surprised me. Jeff Siembieda, JJ Buck, and Micah Alden and Josh on the ProView side. JJ, a game last night where I think you and I were both on the Titans. We're going to talk today about games last night, both college games, because I'm not sure they let the special teams on coach for Colorado State back on the bus after what happened last night in the first half against Boise State, and in the pros. That's one of the biggest reasons the Titans got beat by the Colts last night. All right, well, I'll tell you it's true. I see you nodding. Oh, you in?
Yeah, it's like buttons not working. Stephen Gostkowski is a liability for the Tennessee Titans, and his friendship with Mike Vrabel must be nice, but they have to look in to acquiring a new field goal kicker moving forward. And what we saw last night from Indianapolis, we've touched on their defense, and we say, yeah, they're pretty good. That is a top 3 defense in the NFL, not just AFC, NFL. That was on display last night.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. And the Titans got a taste of that at home, and you can't squander opportunities. And that's what they did, is squander opportunities. And to your point on Vrabel, who played in New England with Stephen Gostkowski, Gostkowski's had a great career, but he is a liability. And for whatever reason, if you become the kicker of the Tennessee Titans, you become shaky. How about them going through their third punter in 3 weeks and him shanking an 11-yard punt or whatever that was to give the ball back to Indianapolis at the 20. So you just make a goal line stand. You just stop Indianapolis at the goal line. You've got all the momentum. Your team's fired up. You get a first down. You got a punt, and your punter puts it out of bounds at the 28-yard line. Thanks for coming. Like, good night now. And that's why you got a tie at the top of the AFC South. I'm going to tell you, I think Tennessee's a better overall team. But Indianapolis proved something last night. And, yeah, they may have Old Man Rivers. They may have a guy who's a bit immobile at quarterback, but they've got everything else. And that old man, when he's on, still is accurate and still makes good decisions. And for the most part, gets the ball out. I thought it could add another touchdown to Mo Alley Cox if he got the ball out on time, one time on the goal line. But can you win with Phillip Rivers? I mean, to a certain level, you can win. He's won it the majority of his career.
Indianapolis is effective offensively. They don't wow you. I liked what they did last night. They were really good in creating ways to get the ball to Michael Pittman, Naheem Hines out of the backfield, easy check down option for Phillip Rivers. I think Tennessee wows us offensively. Tennessee's no good defensively, and that's going to be an issue for them. And we see that this year. There's a handful of teams that are good on both sides of the football, and then there's a lot of teams that are either really good defensively, have issues offensively, or it's the other way around. And right now, Tennessee is one of those teams that's usually pretty good offensively, but doesn't play a lot of defense. And that's why it's just really fascinating down the stretch watching this dynamic play out, which is going to stand out in the post to be high level. Are we going to see a team like Indianapolis, which is very similar to, say, Chicago, that has a top flight defense, but a ton of questions if the offense is going to rise to the occasion?
Well, I think offensively, Indianapolis can run the ball. I do. I have faith in Jonathan Wilkins. In Jonathan Taylor. And I think Naheem Hines has been as good of a number 2 back. And I say number 2 because in some respects they do it by committee. But you look around the league and you say, okay, there's guys who have a day. All right, what do the Rams do? Well, they got Akers and Brown and Henderson, but is consistent, and I think quietly consistent. Himes on a weekly basis is giving you production and getting you tough yards. So I think they can run the ball. I think they found a tight end. I don't know that I believe in their receivers, and so hence I'm not sure I completely believe in what Rivers can do. Do they have a good enough offense? They did last night, but in the long term to win in the playoffs, and I think it's fair. Now they have an elite defense. They have an absolutely elite defense, and if they play Seattle, do you trust? So do you think their defense holds Seattle? I'm just thinking why am I thinking Seattle in the playoffs? If they play Kansas City, if they play the Steelers, if they play the Ravens, I mean, not against Kansas City, but against the Steelers and the Ravens,
Well,
I think they're in a game.
Last week with Baltimore, 24-10, Baltimore, 7 of those points came from the Ravens defense.
Yeah.
So is their offense good enough against another elite defense? Because right now I think Baltimore, Indianapolis, and the Rams are a step above in terms of the really good defenses in the league. And then you kind of start putting in there Pittsburgh, you give Miami credit. But the Colts are one of those teams, like I said, that has a bigger question overall because you don't necessarily trust their defense. Now, going up against an Indianapolis, that is fascinating because that is the team right now that we have no doubt is going to find a way to score. We saw it last week in the Carolina game. Really wasn't their day. But guess what? You look up at the end of the day, and they found a way to have a big second half. But the Colts are a team that's in position to be a ridiculously tough out for anyone on that first weekend. Because who knows what the postseason is going to look like. I think by the time we get there, it will be the 7 teams, the AFC, NFC, first overall bye. But, man, when you have a defense like that, you're not going to be comfortable, the team that's playing the Colts.
No, I think that's right. All right, break it down. What do you think? I want your thoughts on the AFC today and what you saw last night. Are the Colts now a contender in your mind? I told you I've thought the Titans the whole time are the best team in that division. The Colts obviously asserted themselves last night. Is it all Kansas City? Are you buying into Pittsburgh? Do you think the Ravens figure it out offensively? What do you think after watching last night to start off essentially the second half of the season where most teams have played 8 games now? Some teams still have not had their bye. 505-246-0610 is how you get in today, or 888-922-0610. I've got emails at Jeff at 610knml.com, JJ at 610knml.com. We've got a day like you've never seen. It's a day unlike any other. The Masters. A Masters in November with short days and then a rain delay, which led to half the field playing half a round yesterday, meaning that half of the field will play their first round. They're finished the first round this morning and then move on, and they're going to turn it around now because they've got to play the morning round. So the guys who finished yesterday afternoon are probably not going to finish today, if that makes any sense. They're going to get their start times pushed back, and then they're on this tomorrow. The story always is Tiger Woods, and Tiger was good. Tiger is at 4 under. That ties him for 8th place at the Masters after 1 round. And by the way, don't look now, but Phil Mickelson is 3 under, and he's still out on the golf course. Paul Casey's your leader overnight, and Dylan Fratelli is still out there, and he's 7 under. And he's got 3 holes left. A lot of big names at the top. Justin Thomas is about ready to make another birdie on 15. He is tied with Xander Schauffele and Webb Simpson at -5. Justin Rose is at -5. Lee Westwood at -4. Louis Oosthuizen and Patrick Reed, Tiger Woods. How about Bernhard Langer? Do you know how old Bernhard Langer is? Any idea? Have you looked at him out there? Have you seen how yoked he is? Bernhard Langer's 62 years old. And he's 4 under and tied for 8th place at the Masters. Now, look, I don't think he's going to be there when it's all said and done, but we've seen Fred Couples make runs in the first couple of rounds. Bernhard Langer is if you don't know his story and just look at him and the specimen that he is pretty impressive. Did you sit around and watch any of it? Because I couldn't get enough of it yesterday.
Yeah. The names that you ran down are nice, Jeff, and you're right. We talk about the talent in the game, the amount of players that are in contention to win the Masters. It's still all about one guy, and the fact he went bogey free. He's 4 under. It's defending champion. It's the only thing in sports that unites the majority of people. People root against LeBron James. People wanted to see Tom Brady and the Patriots lose. Very few people are not entertained by Tiger Woods. He is still the main storyline. When he is in contention, when he has a round like that, it gets you excited for the weekend.
It does. It does. And then you want to come back and see what he's going to do today. And whether you want to see a guy win or lose, he can still entertain you. Now, you can still be entertained watching LeBron if you don't like him, if you want to see him lose. And even Tiger. The joy with which you played yesterday. JJ, he had never had a bogey-free first round at Augusta. And he missed a putt 18, which very well could have put him at -5. And so you're right. I mean, that's the talk. You watch Sports Center and they lead with Tiger Woods, a whole package of Tiger Woods highlights. And then they come back to the analysts. I'm like, are you guys going to show the rest of the tournament? Like, are you going to show? And then they went into their highlight package. But to your point, when you got the GOAT, or one of the guys, two people in the discussion for greatest of all time, and he's the defending champion, and he's 45 years old, and he is coming off one of the most emotional victories in the history of that sport, and the greatest comeback in sport. Yeah, you're right. It's about him. I think that puts him in position. No matter what happens, he'll be there for the weekend, and so that there'll be that storyline. It
is a tradition unlike any other. Tiger Woods in a major, bringing people together like very few can.
I promise you updates throughout the morning. Justin Thomas is looking at a birdie putt. You've got a lot of big names on the course. Dustin Johnson at -4, Phil Mickelson at -3. So you got a lot of big names that are still on the golf course finishing out their first round. And then you got guys like John Rahm ready to go, who was -3, Bryson. And so we got a fun day. It's a day unlike any other. It will be a season unlike any other, and it's still playing out. Where, when, how on earth will Lobo and Aggie basketball be played? We're going to get into that. Coming up next, it's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal.
Titus and Tate break down all you need to know for the NBA draft.
I asked him point blank, so you're the best what in this draft? And he said, I'm the best player.
It's his second field goal. He's got 4 points. Watson, though, goes all the way. Hit the deck, I should say. Cordova tried to throw it off Romero. A 3 for...
Set out to Jutapia. Nice move behind his back. It's a good...
Here's Ramos. Step back. High arcing. 20!
But he needed to get his legs back under him.
Ooh, little kick. They leave it one more time. Two-hand hammer.
Look at this, they're not going to score again. Look at this.
Up top! Yes, and the finish for Akbayosi. Saved into the hands of Riak, ahead of the pack to Davina Lovato. Up high, down hard for Akbayosi. Out of the corner, Casals, the 3-0, Katenge! Let me clean up the mess! He dropped out of the rafters for that one, Steve.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, green and red chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Cinnabons. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenpride@abq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs, proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
Get into the game with Garden Swartz Team Sales. They have everything you need, from screen printing, embroidery, and digital printing services, high school letterman jackets, and all high school and club uniforms and individual and team apparel with the most reliable brands like Speedline, Rollins, and Wilson. And don't forget to check out the latest F7 Shut helmet. It's all at Garden Swartz Team Sales. Give them a call, 505-884-1234. Garden Swartz Team Sales.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walk up to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
Colts radio as they beat the Titans in Nashville last night, 34-17. You heard the game here in your home for the National Football League, 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal. Big win for the Colts as they pull into a tie with now the tiebreaker with the Titans in the AFC South. I think, JJ, in regards to, I'm watching a ton of the Masters, I think khaki is Nike's color for the fall. Like that army green. Rory, Brooks Koepka, and Tiger all were wearing a form of the kind of khaki army green on day one. I believe that to be Nike. Because, you know, the Nike, Under Armour, all the companies use these big tournaments as a way to show their new lines and dress their golfers in their latest. And that must be the new color for the fall.
Tony Finau was looking good yesterday in that. I liked Bryson DeChambeau rocking the black with the green and the Puma, because you always got to sprinkle in that green for Masters Week. Looking good on the course, great condition, just fantastic. And it's very gettable, after that rain. And if you hit it in that fairway, you got that second shot. There were birdie opportunities.
Yeah, especially early, just watching them go at it. Justin Thomas just made another birdie. So he is one stroke back along with Sunjae Im. Both of those guys at -6. Paul Casey, Dylan Fratelli are your leaders. Dustin Johnson's going to have a tap-in birdie here to go to -5. So the big names are going, and we'll keep you up to date as the Masters finishes up round 1, and then round 2 will get started. All right, it's a tradition like any other. This is obviously a year like no other. 2020. And like I said earlier, what can go wrong on Friday the 13th of this year? The Lobo football team is experiencing. I was talking, I had some business yesterday. It was talking with a Lobo football player of the past and about the football team. And I said, tell me this. I said, it's imperfect. And I'm sure if you walk into their rooms, there's no housekeeping at the resort because they're trying to limit exposure and limit the spread. That's part of the bubble is with housekeepers. So somebody was telling me that the rooms are just, as you would expect the rooms to be, right? Just stink, the bed's unmade, and Chick-fil-A in the corner and a pizza box over there. And right. It's not like they've got housekeepers in the bubble that are coming in like you are in a hotel every day. I guess the rooms stink but my point was, I think when this is all said and done, the bond with this team, and remembering 2020, when these guys are 20 years older, and they're 35, 40 years old, and they look back on that year, I think this is going to be one of those years that just stands out in their life as this time. As special, as unforgettable, as you remember that year when we were the only team in America that couldn't practice at home, that whole thing and all the stories that are coming out of it. I'm not telling you as they're living it, it's ideal, but I think it's going to be one of those things that is going to create incredible bonds as they move on.
Oh, absolutely.
He agreed.
I think Monday, if that's getting around, Danny Gonzalez might hand out a bunch of Clorox wipes and disinfectant and say, all right, let's fix this. But with the mentality that he talks about all the time, with the attitude that he wants to have his players, have on and off the field. But you have to embrace it. You have to spin it the best you can, because they're getting an opportunity to play football as safely as possible during this time. And that's the thing. If you don't know what's going on, it's easy to react negatively and just assume, oh, look, they're putting student athletes at risk. Oh, they don't care about anything other than getting the money. And it's evident, when we talked about the athletic story earlier this week, reading the comments. I did a segment on KOAT yesterday, and I for sure was not reading the comments on Facebook after they posted that story, because if you don't know the specifics, a lot of people just have such a negative reaction. Like, they don't understand that they're pretty much quarantine themselves in their own wing of the hotel. They're not interacting with hotel staff. They're getting tested 3 times a week. Everything that's going on for them to play football this season.
Where did that? What was the line of questioning on KOAT? What was the point?
It was just an update on Lobo football. Like, how are they doing this? What are their finances looking like? Why they needed to play football. For the athletic department, losing the money games, the new TV deal, which is huge because it pretty much doubles what they're getting before. So it was more an update on Lobo football. But then you see that story out there, and then the reaction is from people that probably, as we said, didn't watch the story, aren't reading the headlines, and it's such a visceral reaction for some that don't take the time to figure out what is going on and how college athletics is moving forward. Because you see postponements. It happens, but things are getting postponed because these teams are trying to limit something bad happening. They're monitoring. Oop, there's a positive test. Oh, unfortunately, it's taking too many of our players out. We postpone, we quarantine, get healthy.
So I was on with TJ yesterday over on News Radio KKOB. By the way, you're listening to the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal. And we were talking about this. And to me, this is the biggest point of all of it. Well, when you get into that conversation, JJ, about why are they playing and we're putting them at risk and the whole risk thing, I absolutely contend, and the more I think about this, and I'm more convinced, those student athletes are at less of a risk than you and I are walking around and going to the grocery store. That the risk, the positivity rate, the infection rate, the spread rate. While yes, there are 11 games that are postponed for this weekend, because if you see what's going on in society, not just here or in El Paso, but around the country, like the rates are climbing, but the rates within these athletic programs are exponentially less. They are testing 3 times a week. They are bubbling. They are doing everything that they're asked to, and then protocols on top of it. And so you're putting the student athletes at risk for your entertainment. I just think is a bad argument. I think it's wrong, because in fact, those student athletes are safer than you and I are, and it's certainly safer than they would be if they weren't in that protocol, in that bubble, or at least, let's not call it a bubble, because I don't know that it's a total bubble all the time, but a controlled environment. And I don't even know how you can argue against that. I don't know how you can tell me that a student who's going to school or going to work, or you or me are going to the grocery store, doing whatever it is we're doing, are somehow in a more safe environment than those student athletes who you're telling me we're putting at risk. And they're in a safer place than we all are.
I agree with you, and I think that's why it works, and that's why I've been on board with college athletics moving forward, given the protocols and given the fact they are being tested 3 times a week. Raise your hand if you're tested 3 times a week. Sure, not me in this situation. So you get the level of frustration, as all of us are fatigued, are frustrated as we look at things. But sometimes you do actually need to read stories, look into what is going on. And with the Lobos in Las Vegas, for them being pretty much bubbled for the week outside of traveling to a game because of how they've been able to manage that hotel situation.
Well,
this is And you look at it, Jeff, and I think you talked about it like right before the season started. You start running through it, and people are asking, how could you send them out of state? Is that safer? It actually is, because guess what? They don't have anywhere to go. They don't have anywhere to sneak off to at that resort. They're there. They go to Sam Boyd to practice, and on Saturday, they go to Sam Boyd to play a football game.
And they've got the app on their phone, which basically where they are at all times. Yeah, and even when they're traveling, they're traveling within the controlled environment. They're traveling in a group. They're traveling in private transportation where everybody in their group is tested. And so, I just look. I get it. The infection rate the spread is out of control, and not just in New Mexico, but everywhere. And so, why are we playing? The whole going backwards thing, and we had this conversation back the first time we shut down, and I say the first time, and I hope it's the only time. If we have to shut down again, the damage is going to be worse. And so, like, commerce is going on, life is going on. Do you think it's better for the student athletes to not play and to go back and be on their own? Do you think it's better for these economies to dry up, for the budgets to dry up at the universities? And it's not all about money. I'm not telling you it is. It's partially about money, but it's not. So what is that going to mean for basketball? And I know I told you going into the last break that we'd get there. We're going to. What is that going to mean for basketball? Because the governor's speaking today at 1. I don't think there's one person in the land of enchantment who believes that they're going to loosen restrictions. And that I think we all think it's going to get tighter. So what does that mean? What is it going to mean? And specifically for Lobo and Aggie basketball. That is next. The number to get in is 505-246-0610. Would love your thoughts. If I'm wrong, if JJ's wrong, tell me. I'm listening. If you think somehow, if you're still one of those people who tell me, how do you put these student athletes at risk for your entertainment? And we had Alan call the other day, right? I'm telling you, the student athletes are safer than you and I. They're in a more controlled environment. Well, then why not? That's another story. Why not the rest of the student body? But if you're still there, I'd love to hear why I'm wrong. On the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610 Sports Animal.
Accidents eastbound I 40 just before you approach the end.
When you're in a hurry, Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, green and red chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Cinnabons. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenpride@abq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs, proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
Get into the game with Garden Swartz Team Sales. They have everything you need, from screen printing, embroidery, and digital printing services, high school letterman jackets, and all high school and club uniforms and individual and team apparel with the most reliable brands like Speedline, Rollins, and Wilson. And don't forget to check out the latest F7 Shut helmet. It's all at Garden Swartz Team Sales. Give them a call, 505-884-1234. Garden Swartz Team Sales.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walking to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number 1. Cover it with green stuff, 1 scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
Let's see if Melfi can cash it in. He's got some protection. Deep ball. Erickson's open. Touchdown, Monarchs.
Second and 10. Smith looking, and he's going to fire over the middle, and he's got his guy, and it's another big play. Walking away for a touchdown, Tristan Altier.
They're going to hand it off to Chavez. Chavez breaking tackles. Look out. Chavez up the sideline. Stays in bounds. Touchdown. Volcanovic.
That replay,
I
just
got
get
you.
the measurement. I mean,
Smith's got a fire on first down, and he's on the outside. There's a lot of room for Brad Thomas. A move, and he's set free. Dance into the end zone. Touchdown. So it goes.
He'll run with it.
All right, so where and how are Lobo basketball going to play? And I think that's a big question. Media days were held this week for the Mountain West Conference, and Lobos were picked 7th in the Mountain West Conference. That's great. Are they going to play? As you well know, or I think you know, New Mexico and New Mexico State are the only two teams in America. There's, JJ, 355, 353, 351, 350-ish Division I college basketball teams, correct?
Yes, number sounds good.
It's in the 350s. The two teams in America who are not allowed to practice in their state nor play in their state nor leave their state and come back are New Mexico State. And the governor's office has made that pretty clear. That is not going to change. There's no exemption. It's the opening drive. Jeff Siembieda, JJ, Buck, and Micah. 505-246-0610 is how you get in. So, JJ, I've had conversations with both athletic directors this week. Both of them are making plans. Both of them are figuring out what they have to do. The model's there in Lobo basketball. I think Lobo women are at least for a while going to be in Vegas. They're playing in an MTE there, a multi-team event, a tournament where they'll get in a number of games. They're going to go to Vegas. I could tell you that both the men's teams, that's not settled yet. I know that the Aggies are considering spots in Arizona and in Vegas. I know that the Lobos are considering places in California, Colorado. There's a lot. We're best, to safely do this, and then logistically, what is your? I mean, we're literally, the season starts within 2 weeks theoretically. It would have started in a regular year 2 days ago. How do you do this fiscally, meaning economically? How do you do this logistically and get games in? How do you do it safely and keep your student athletes in the right place? Now, for the most part, the semester is going to be over, or they got to finish school. But where are you going? Jans, he wants to play basketball. Alford, you've heard him. He wants to play basketball. They're going to play. I'm convinced, assuming there's an NCAA basketball season. Lobos and Aggies will play. I just don't, at least at the beginning, it will not be in New Mexico, and they're going to figure out how to play games somewhere else. And the league will I think the league's expecting, at least in the Mountain West, to deal with that. The WAC is probably something a little bit new, but it's obviously on their radar, and everybody will make amends and figure out how to get this done. And we're in the same place. I'm going to tell you the same thing with the basketball athletes as I am with football. This isn't, they're playing just for our entertainment. We're putting them at risk. I'm going to tell you, with them too, they're going to be in a safer place too.
No, it's, I think, more challenging to find an accessible venue in this situation because it just worked out so well that there's a brand new $1 billion stadium in Las Vegas that UNLV happens to be able to play at on Saturdays, and Sam Boyd's sitting there. And so it was a really good scenario in a year that it's been very hard to find good scenarios for local football. So I think, yes, we know how it works. We know what it's going to take. Where is still a huge question. and also just playing the games. At some point in time, and it's got to be relatively soon, NCAA basketball has to address what happens, because there's going to be teams that don't play a non-conference schedule but have a full conference schedule. There's going to be teams that end up playing 3-4 games non-conference wise. Wyoming announced their non-conference schedule this week. It's 7 games. So what are we doing in a year where we're not going to have those differentiating games, but some teams are going to play in an MTE? Some teams might have a marquee matchup that they make. How are we going to decide this at the end? Hopefully, fingers crossed, when we get there, and they want to put together an NCAA tournament.
Well, we're going to deal with it like we deal with everything else. And you saw the Ivy League yesterday shut down, right? Winter sports not going to happen in the Ivy League. JJ, I would argue with you that I think it's easier to find a place for basketball, because you're not having fans, so you can play in a junior college gym, you can play in a high school gym for that matter. You're not going to find an arena. But you don't need an arena, right? I mean, you're playing with no fans. So I think there's a lot of places they can play, and I think that probably opens it up for them a bit in regards to where both of them can move. You don't need to go to an 18,000 or 10,000 or 6,000 or 2,000 seat arena. But as far as the inconsistencies in schedules and games played, yeah, and you're going to deal with it. Because you know why? It's 2020, soon to be 2021. It's COVID. And but to your point, you're right. Some teams are going to play a lot more or a lot less games than the others. Rudy, good morning. You're on the Quan's Auto Care Hotline. Good day, sir.
Good morning. So, I call Mike a TL. No, that's his new name, right?
Call him what?
TL.
TL.
Trevor Lawrence. TL.
He looks exactly like Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah, so he's TL now. It's not Micah. He's TL.
All right. What do you got?
Hey, what's the first thing that we usually say when it's time for a coach to go? What do we say? Remember?
No.
The coach has lost the team. The coach has lost the team.
Okay.
Right? Well, the governor's lost the people of the state. Nobody's listening anymore because of the draconian measures. So today at 1 o'clock, if anybody advising her out there is listening, tell her to amend the health order to exempt the universities that are doing this the right way, where their infection rates are lower than the county average and less than 5%. If she just do that, then the money would come back into this state. The team could play their home games at University Stadium with no fans. We could play the basketball games in the pit with no fans and do it that way. Instead, we're going to go give another state money, which makes about as much sense as, I don't know, running into a brick wall with your head time after time to see if you can get through the brick wall.
So I actually really like that. But let me ask you, go back to your premise. Has she lost the state? The people. Yes. So yes. bear with me for a second. Bear with me for a second, because I don't know that I know the answer. In fact, I'm certain I don't. So certainly the people that the majority of people on our show, but not all of them, right? She's lost. She's. I mean, there's a lot of people now. We had Alan the other day and Grady, and there was a John. Another gentleman came in and said, "Look, she's doing the right thing. It's a pandemic." There are probably in our circles, people tend to think our way, but I don't know that she's lost everybody, and maybe I don't even know if it's a majority. I think it is, but I don't know that it is.
She hasn't lost her sycophants, but she's lost the reasonable people. She's lost the reasonable people in the legislature. That's who she's lost. Look, I'm talking to my friends that supported her, that are members of the Democratic Party. And for their own protection, I'm not revealing any names, but you've talked to some of these people too. And they're in leadership positions in Santa Fe. And they can't even get her on the phone. They can't even talk reason with her. They can't even form a coalition of other like-minded people to approach the governor, because she has just made herself unapproachable.
Okay.
And that's the problem.
But going back to your plan. Going back to your plan, I like your plan. Yeah, JJ, what he's saying is, if you're testing within your program, within the parameters of what it says in that county, never mind what's going on in the county, let them play.
So, and here's the final thing, and I've seen it in my own experience. You don't mess with basketball in this state. You don't mess with Lobo basketball. When Jeff Romero went after Kenny Thomas, when Kenny unfortunately got his DWI, it cost Jeff Romero his job as the district attorney. And I'll never forget what this one message on my phone left. I don't know who it was, but they said, all we got in this lousy state is Lobo basketball, and this idiot's screwing with Lobo basketball. And you just don't screw with New Mexico State basketball.
It's going to be interesting.
It's very near and very dear to a lot of people in this state for a lot of years.
Dan on the line.
And when people see, they don't care if they can't go to the games. I've talked to everybody. What they care about is sending our money to another state. We're in the middle of an economic crisis, and we need every dollar to stay at home.
That's a big part of it. And then I guess the answer would be, then don't play, then don't go, and then the money doesn't come in. All right, Rudy, thanks. I appreciate it. JJ, his point on basketball and the passion for basketball in the state is real. It's one thing you want to mess with our soccer team, cute. All right, you mess with Lobo football, well, all right, it's Lobo football. Is it different now that it's going to be basketball season?
I think some people might react differently to it, and as I've said, I don't think a one-size-fits-all plan makes sense or works during this time, because that's just not the way I think we're going to be able to get through this, because we have to handle things differently. I think you have to realize what the conference is doing for football right now, the protocols of testing that will be in place for basketball, unlike other situations. So I understand the frustration. I've been very adamant in my stance about it. As long as you're able to test and follow protocols and do things as safe as you can for the student athletes, I think they should be able to play, and I don't think it makes sense to have them tied to the county.
All right, Dan's got a thought. When we get back, we'll continue this conversation. Is it different for basketball? Are you going to feel different? I mean, look, it's one thing. All right, football, yeah, but it's Lobo football. Oh, don't mess with my basketball. This is a basketball state. It always has been. It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM in AM 670 Sports Animal.
Gifts from eBay say a lot.
Second field goal, he's got 4 points. Watson, though, goes all the way.
Hit the deck, I should say. Cordova tried to throw it off. Romero, a three for...
Set out to Jutapia. Nice move behind his back. It's a good... Here's Ramos, step back, high arcing, twine!
Well, he needed to get his legs back under him.
Ooh, little kick.
They leave it one more time to Hammer.
Look at this, they're going to score again. Look at this.
Up top! Yes! And the finish for Akbayosi.
Saved into the hands of Riak, ahead of the pack to Davina Lovato. Up high, down hard for Akbayosi. Out of the corner, Casals, the 3-0, Katenge! Let me clean up the mess! He dropped out of the rafters for that one, Steve.
Don't sacrifice quality of flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, green and red chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Cinnabons. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenpride@abq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs, proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
Get into the game with Garden Swartz Team Sales. They have everything you need from screen printing, embroidery, and digital printing services, high school letterman jackets, and all high school and club uniforms and individual and team apparel with the most reliable brands like Speedline, Rawlings, and Wilson. And don't forget to check out the latest F7 Shut helmet. It's all at Garden Swartz Team Sales. Give them a call, 505-884-1234. Garden Swartz Team Sales.
Melfi can cash it in. He's got some protection. Deep ball. Erickson's open. Touchdown, Monarchs.
Second and 10. Smith looking, and he's going to fire over the middle, and he's got his guy, and it's another big play. Walking away for a touchdown, Tristan Altier.
Hand it off to Chavez. Chavez breaking tackles. Look out. Chavez up the sideline. Stays in bounds. Touchdown. Volcanovic.
That replay.
I got you.
Measurement. I mean,
Smith's got a fire on first down, and he's on the outside. There's a lot of room for Brad Thomas.
Boy, these guys are going low at the Masters, man. Justin Thomas just had a 3-foot birdie putt on 18 to tie for the lead. Missed it, so he shoots a 6-under par, 66. JJ, this is as good as Justin Thomas is. And by the way, watching him play, he's, to my eye, the most impressive that I've seen, just as far as his swing and where he's putting the ball. He missed the putt. This is the first time in his Masters career that Justin Thomas has shot under par in the first round, which bodes really well for him at this tournament. His average was 74 score, which is 2 over in the first round. So he's in a great place. It's still Paul Casey and Dylan Fratelli, who's out there playing 18 now. Dustin Johnson is playing 18. He is at 6 under. And by the way, when I told you Bernhard Langer was 62, I forgot that he just had a birthday. I don't know how I could forget he just had a birthday in August. I mean, come on. The man is 63 years old and tied for 10th at 4 under par of the Masters. It's impressive.
It is very impressive. It is very impressive. And want to take nothing away from that. But this is what we can see. You know, the Masters is one of the courses that can play easier because there's only so much you can do to it. It is built. You're not changing the distances that much. If the greens get soft, there's nothing you can do. If the players hit good shots, they're going to be in position to go low.
Yeah, and if the weather's good, like it looks to be today, Rory's struggling. He's 3 over. All right, 505-246-0610. It's the opening drive. Jeff, JJ, Micah. Alden and Josh are producing for you over on the ProView Networks, where you can watch the show and take a look at what we're doing. Dan, thanks for holding. Appreciate it. You're on the Quan's Auto Care Hotline. Good day, sir.
Good morning, guys. How y'all doing?
Good, Dan. How are you?
I'm vertical, brother, so that's a good thing today.
It's always a good thing, actually, not just today on Friday the 13th, 2020.
That was a good thing, brother. Nice to hear you guys' voices every day, too. Hey, starting off, I just, and I'm not trying to put a bummer or anything on the show, but I want to express my condolences to the Salazar family up north. They lost Dennis yesterday to the COVID virus, and he was just a huge UNM supporter, a huge supporter of the youth programs and athleticism in northern New Mexico for just years and years. And he's that guy that never turned the kids away. He never turned them down. Just one of those guys. You know, we lost him yesterday, and I just wanted to express that because I know they listen up north, and there's a lot of people hurting about Dennis today. So God rest your soul, Dennis. Thank you for all your efforts you gave to us over the years. Another thing, you know, I have so much respect in the short time that Coach Gonzalez has been here. I've gained such a respect for that young man. The fact that he's taken on this responsibility with all these young men to be responsible for them in their athleticism, their scholastics, and their lives, and that the parents are entrusting him to care for their children. It's an incredible responsibility, huge responsibility that this young coach is taking on. And I have nothing but admiration for him and respect, and I will support him to the end because I think he deserves it. As far as Mama Michelle, I think she's doing everything right. I think she really cares about us as a state, and I think she's really trying to do everything right and allowing everyone to make decisions on their own, and it takes a whole village. So thanks for allowing the platform, guys, and you guys have a great weekend.
Appreciate you, Dan. And JJ, that's when I tell you, you know, Rudy says it's like a coach who's lost the team. I don't think she's lost everyone, and you know, Dan will tell you that. I mean, Dan believes what she's doing. I'm not telling you she's right or wrong. I mean, there's things that I think there should be exemptions. Obviously, we're in a crisis. But that kind of goes to show you everyone's not off on this.
Yeah, it's, you know, speaking of bubbles, if you're in the sports bubble, you're viewing it a certain way. You're seeing, all right, there's protocols in place, there's high levels of testing, so why are you equating that to what the public is doing, which is not the same things? And so I think that's where the frustration comes, is there's not an element of separating it apart. Because you know what? This is real. Try getting an elective surgery right now. You can't. Try going to the ER. You're going to be waiting a long time. So there's no doubt this is a serious thing, but it's how do you piece it apart, you know, as you've discussed, Jeff, you know, to be able to move forward in those places that you can do it safely.
I think whichever bubble you're in, you look at it in that perspective. If you're in the hospitality industry, you're looking at it through your bubble, right? If you're in the restaurant industry, you're saying, well, why? I mean, this can be done safely. If you are in the business of elective surgeries, you're saying, well, we've got the space over here or over here, and we can get these done. I mean, whatever it is, your bubble is your interest, your business, your focus. In this case, it happens to be athletics. And if it can be done safely, and you can't sit here and tell me, well, they had 2 positives this week, see, they're not doing it safely. 2 positives. What's that rate compared to society's rate? I'm not telling you it's good. I'm not telling you any of them are good. I'm telling you it's out there. What did we have yesterday? How many? 1,000? How many cases yesterday? 1,400 in the state? You had 2 in UNM athletics over the last 4 weeks. Is that right? I'm not telling you any of them are good. That rate, it seems to be what they're doing. And I'll read you an email that's asking for the science. But there's your science. There's your data. Is there a way? So I'm asking you the question this morning. Now that's going to come to your basketball. I mean, football's one thing. They mess with United. All right, they're a cute little team. That's fun. All right, football, they're nice. All right. Oh, this is a little basketball. Is that different? Rudy said it's different. How do you feel? It's the opening drive, 505-246-0610 to get in on 95.9 FM, AM 610, Sports Animal and ProView Networks.
He's got the touchdown. The Sports Animal.
It's a second field goal. He's got 4 points. Watson, though, goes all the way.
Hit the deck, I should say. Cordova tried to throw it off Romero. A 3 for
Set out to Jutapia. Nice move behind his back. It's a good. Here's Ramos. Step back. High arcing. 20.
But he needed to get his legs back under him.
Ooh, a little kick.
They leave it one more time. Two-hand hammer.
Look at this, they're not going to score again. Look at this.
up top. Yes, and the finish for Akbayosi. Saved into the hands of Riak, ahead of the pack. Davina Lovato up high, down hard for Akbayosi. Out of the corner, Casals, the 3-0, Katenge! Let me clean up the mess! He dropped out of the rafters for that one, Steve.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, green and red chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Cinnabons. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenpride@abq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs, proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
He's just absolutely, he's jacked and he's got the frame for it, you know, which is, again, something I don't have. But I have zero desire to put on 50 or 40 pounds. I mean, I could put on 10 and it'd be a good 10 pounds. But, I mean, I don't need to hit it 370 yards or 340 yards in the air to win every tournament. I feel like I hit it plenty far enough that if I get a little bit better in other aspects, I can contend and win every single tournament I play.
And he's contending and not winning yet, but in place to win. That's Justin Thomas, who just finished his first round at Augusta, 6 under 66. He had about a 3-foot birdie putt on 18 to tie for the lead. So Justin Thomas is right there. And again, his best, his first under par round at Augusta. Dustin Johnson was the group behind him, had the same putt, but about I would say 10 feet long, about 10-foot putt down the hill. Dustin made his putt, and so DJ is tied for first. Dustin Johnson has played 35 rounds at Augusta. This was his best round by 2 strokes. His 65 was his best round and the first time that he has gone bogey-free. So you've got big names just swarming the top of the leaderboard. Xander Schauffele's 2 strokes back. You got Dustin Johnson, Paul Casey, Dylan Fratelli at the top. They've all now finished their first round. You're going to have DJ goes off here for the second round in about 20 minutes. I mean, it's just literally go use the restroom if you need to. Grab a breakfast bar or cereal or something and go. Justin Thomas is going to go here in about 10 minutes. So, JJ, you got big names, and don't forget Tiger at -4. Bernhard Langer's 63 years old. He's 4 under. And guys putting up their best numbers ever. Eye test to me, Justin Thomas played phenomenally.
Justin Thomas, someone I like coming into the weekend. He was great yesterday. The headliner still is Tiger Woods. It's amazing what he does. And you're all right, Jeff. The talent, you're running down the names, the storylines, you want it all. But nothing brings people together like Tiger Woods. When he is in contention and at a major, the eyes that gravitate towards the television, the people that are talking about their rounds, it is unbelievable. And that is the best Tiger has looked in a long time. And that is why I don't doubt Tiger Woods. I don't need to see him playing the Shell Houston Open. I don't need to see him having 2 warm-up tournaments coming in playing good, because that's not who he is. He's a guy that is going to be week by week. He doesn't need to warm up. It's just on a daily basis, hey, do I feel good? Can I play my game? If so, he can go out there and play like he did yesterday.
12:30 Tigers tee time. Look at my guy Sebastian Munoz. Keep it going, Sebastian. He's tied for he's 1 under already on the day and at -3. All right, so I'll keep you up to date on all of that stuff. Phil Mickelson's round just ended. He is 3 under par, so 1 stroke behind Tiger and tied for 18th. So your guy Tony Finau's at the same number. 1 stroke behind them, Matthew Wolff and Ricky Fowler and Colin Morikawa. So a lot of names, and we'll keep you going. Nick Nee is going to join us at 9 o'clock. And we'll talk golf with Nick, the head golf pro over at the San Diego Golf Club. Opening drive on Friday the 13th, 2020. What could go wrong? I mean, what could possibly go wrong? Jeff Siembieda, JJ Buck, and Micah were on the ProView Networks. Alden and Josh are producing there. You can watch us on ProViewNetworks.com and on our Facebook page, the OD in the AM. But talking about last night's game, Colts beat the Titans 34-17, and special teams were the difference. Haven't even gotten into special teams in the college game yet. And the college athletic situation in our state. Now that it's going to go to basketball, do you care more? Rudy says, man, once you mess with Lobo basketball, Aggie basketball, now you've gone too far. How do you feel about that? Edward, thanks for holding. You are now on the Quan's Auto Care Hotline. Good day, sir.
It's a tradition like none other. Other than Thomas Edward Brady winning Super Bowl rings and the Crusher just killing it in life, being devastatingly handsome, tragically brilliant, and painfully accurate, with the exception of last night, it is a great tradition. You know, I was so impressed with Tiger's opening round at -4. And then Langer at you stole my thunder, Jeff, at 63 freaking years old, shoots a -4.
Yeah.
What if Bob Hope was still alive? Would he come out and shoot a -8?
Him and Bing Crosby are going to play. Yeah, him and Bing Crosby are going to play together.
Let's roll them all out there. We'll all go low today.
Dinah Shore. Yeah.
I'm sorry, man. I had to laugh at the Bob Hope reference. God rest his soul. Oh, man. Anyway, you know, with the vaunted 5-star picks, I have an obligation to this community to deliver, particularly in this season. You know, we're coming up on the holiday season. In this month of Thanksgiving, it's not just one day, the 4th Thursday of November. It's a month of Thanksgiving as we celebrate humanity. So I rolled in last night at an even 500 right at the Mendoza line at 4-4 and 1. And you and I think even JJ were in consensus of, hey, freaking Titans at home with their big running back and their good defense and their goofy kicker who's never gotten over the missed extra point in the 2015 AFC title game against the Broncos.
I think that's you who haven't got over that.
The Super Bowl.
That's you who hasn't gotten over that.
I don't think he has, honestly, JJ. I don't think Gostkowski has ever recovered. In the other 3 Super Bowls they played, he missed at least an extra point, if not a field goal, in each one of those Super Bowl games. And they chased that point all day long up in Mile High or wherever they play now. Anyway, I just found it interesting and fascinating. But I took the L last night, so like I say, I have an obligation. Now I'm going to chase all weekend trying to make it up on games. But, you know, guys, I am going to take the Browns. Are they for real or are they just pretenders? Is their quarterback, who probably is a better actor than he is a quarterback, his commercials are awesome, by the way.
They're good.
Baker Mayfield, they're awesome. I'm going to take the Browns and give the 3 against the Texans at home. I think the Raiders, who are building some momentum offensively and putting things together, are going to cover the 5 against the Broncos. Kind of makes me a little uncomfortable, but that 5-point spread. And then I was going to go with the Vikings, you know, because they have some momentum offensively. But the Bears in a big moment in a national game, and they're getting 2.5. I'm going to take the Bears at home. And, the goofy, dysfunctional Cowboys last week screwed up my perfect weekend because they're 0-8 against the spread this year. They don't play this weekend, so there's no way for them not to cover the spread. But I am looking for a perfect weekend, and I think it's going to be good for all of us. But
we're all looking for a perfect weekend.
Indeed. Guys, I hope you appreciate the weekend. It's beautiful outside. We have great weather and great sporting events all weekend. So I'm just trying to push some positive energy throughout the community. And you guys have a delightful weekend.
Enjoy it. Enjoy it. I don't like the Bears on that national game. I think the Vikings, JJ, that's a team that if they didn't dig themselves such a big hole, I like the way the Vikings are playing right now. Now, I'm not going to tell you as well as anybody, but I like the way the Vikings are playing. I just think the hole they dug themselves to start the season may be too deep. Yeah,
and then missing out on Dalvin Cook, even for a game, is huge because that's their offense. And I like the pieces they have offensively. Defensively, they are nowhere near as good as we've expected them to be over the last few years. And then that puts that much more pressure on a quarterback. That is very questionable in a Kirk Cousins, and which is why you see a team in Minnesota that if it's going well, their quarterback is throwing a whole 14 passes a game.
Yeah. All right, I got emails, Jeff at 610knml.com, JJ at 610knml.com. Ron says, boy, you know what, Jeffy? I'd like to see the science that says it's safer for Lobo football to live in an unsanitary hotel than it is to bring in a maid to clean things up once in a while. Everybody, while everybody's out at Sam Boyd Stadium. Look, I don't know that they're unsanitary. How often do you have a maid come in and clean up your room? I mean, they can tidy up their rooms. I'm just saying. The point is to limit exposure. Look, there's protocols, man. The science, I don't know. Is unclean, or how about this? Is messy mean unsanitary? Do you have to have a maid come in and scrub your toilet and fold your towels every morning for it to be safe and sanitary? You don't, do you? I'm just asking.
And every morning, at some point in time, you probably need to pick up the bathroom a little bit. I think.
Yeah, I'm not telling you that they're not there ever.
Been there, and then you look around and you're like, ooh.
Ooh. Yeah. Wait till your kid starts
to clean myself in here. Uh-oh.
Yeah. Wait till you got a teenage kid. I'm like, I go up there sometimes. I'm like, child. Like really? Oh. I'm sorry.
This is what happens behind closed doors.
I'm like, what's wrong with you? I don't say what's wrong with you. I don't say that to her. What are you doing? Yeah. I'm not telling you they don't get they're not going 6 weeks without getting their sheets changed. That's not what I'm telling you. They're just not getting housekeeping
until they win a game. So that's their motivation. Once they win a game, they'll get they give them soap and some shampoo.
They're writing to their moms at home, Mom, please send a bar of Ivory. I need some soap. Man, Coach said we can't have no soap until we win a game. We're 0-2, and here comes maybe the best team in the league. I don't know. It's actually somewhat funny. All right, there was Mountain West football last night. The team that I think most people think is the best in the league was on display, and boy, were they impressive. And I don't know that the special teams coach from Colorado State was permitted to get on the bus after what went down yesterday between Boise State and Colorado State. We'll wrap that up for you coming up and go through the schedule this week in the Mountain West Conference. So think about this. Somebody may be watching your home. Somebody may be watching your business. And if a criminal wants to break in, they notice when you come and go. Aaron Jones owns International Protective Service, IPS. You see their vehicles around town. They protected my home for years. I've trusted them for a lot of years. So when you can't be there, he's got highly trained armed officers, and they can be the eyes protecting your home or your business. They got on-site guards or 24-hour patrols, and then the bad guys can't predict the good times to target you. Bottom line is burglaries, commercial and residential, have been on the uptick since COVID began, and you can't afford to be a target right now. You need peace of mind. You need protection, and that's what IPS offers. There's no contracts, there's no long-term commitments. Call them and talk to them, and I think you're going to realize this might be a good solution for you. 505-897-2420 is the number. That's 505-897-2420. You can go to ipsglobal.com. They're committed to making Albuquerque a safer place to live and do business.
If you need to hire, you need Indeed. Indeed.
Second field goal, he's got 4 points. Watson, though, goes all the way.
Hit the deck, I should say. Cordova tried to throw it off Romero. A three for...
Set out to Jutapia. Nice move behind his back. It's a good... Here's Ramos, step back, high arcing, twine!
But he needed to get his legs back under him.
Ooh, a little kick.
They leave it one more time to Hammer.
Look at this, they're going to go score again. Look at this.
Up top! Yes, and the finish for Akbayosi.
Saved into the hands of Riak, ahead of the pack to Davina Lovato. Up high, down hard for Akbayosi. Out of the corner, Casals, the 3-0, Katenge! Let me clean up the mess! He dropped out of the rafters for that one, Steve. Melfi can cash it in. He's got some protection. Deep ball. Erickson's open. Touchdown, Monarchs.
Second and 10, Smith. Looking, and he's going to fire over the middle, and he's got his guy, and it's another big play. Walking away for a touchdown, Tristan Altier.
Hand it off to Chavez. Chavez breaking tackles. Look out. Chavez up the sideline. Stays in bounds. Touchdown. Volcanovic.
That replay.
Yeah, I got you.
Measurement. I mean,
Smith's got a fire on first down, and he's on the outside. There's a lot of room for Brad Thomas. A move, and he's set free. Dance into the end zone. Touchdown. So it goes.
He'll run with it. Stumbling. Gets down into the end zone. And looking to throw it. And he throws it in the end zone. Caught!
First and 10 from the 11. And Pin move for Smith. Push the B button. Dance into the end zone.
Let's roll it. Looking. Here comes the rush. Stepping up. Javier now running around. Being chased. Looks across. Throws it up and wide open. Ball is caught. Touchdown. Siembieda. Dropping, looking, stepping up. He's going to run. He's got a lot of green in front of him. To the end zone. Touchdown. Rio Rancho, Isaiah Chavez. Chavez set. He's going to run with it again and dives and...
It's Austin Smith, and to the outside, a lot of room. Look out, a foot race down the sideline. All the way on the first play from scrimmage, Chris. That's a touchdown.
Scrambling. And off, great hit. He bounces off outside. Got some daylight at the 20, the 10, the 5. What an incredible run.
It's DJ Schramm on the recovery. Results in another.
That was courtesy of FS1. Boise State beat Colorado State last night 52-21, Mountain West Conference football. And JJ, it was 3 special teams touchdowns right in the first half for Boise State, just embarrassing Colorado State. I don't know how good Boise State is. I know you think when they've got one of their quarterbacks, and last night it was Bachmeier, who plays, that they're good, and they're probably as good as anybody in this league. I don't know what that does beyond this league this year. I think this league's getting more competitive, and Nevada looks good, and San Jose State looks nice. But the special teams debacle, and it was embarrassing for Colorado State, got them run out of the building. It was 42-7 at halftime.
Have we checked on LinkedIn if the Colorado State special teams position is open yet? Because I'm not sure they allowed the Rams special teams coordinator to join them on their way back to Fort Collins. It was bad, and by the time you have the second punt blocked, you wonder, all right, why are you not speeding up the process? It looked like a casual walk into the punt for the Rams punter, and how did you not adjust your blocking up front? It was 42-7 at halftime. It was a dismantling of the Rams, and to your point, it wasn't the quarterback play when you have 3 special teams touchdowns, but I believe whether it's Hank Bachmeier or Jake Sears, that one of those guys healthy, Boise State is still a contender in the Mountain West Conference. The BYU loss takes them out of. I don't see them getting back in. There's too many teams that are
lose no New Year's 6 opportunity,
and have a path at a New Year's 6 bowl game. So I think that takes it off the table for Boise State at this point in time. But you match them up, say in the Mountain West title game against Nevada, they're gonna like their chance, because that is one team they don't see in the regular season. And I believe Nevada is actually the best offensive team in this conference, and that allows them to get by defensively.
Lobos are going to get a look at Nevada tomorrow. You can hear it over on News Radio KKOB, 3:30 pregame show with JJ Buck, and then kickoff at 4:30. That's one of the games tomorrow. You know, watching Colorado State, first-year coach was with Steve Adazio. I wish the Lobos would have got to play that game. They were competitive with Hawaii. They were competitive with a San Jose State team who went out and beat San Diego State. Like it would have been the first game for both of those teams. But I think the Lobos, and this is eye test, we're not going to know. I think the Lobos are right on par with what Colorado State is. Do you disagree with that, even though Colorado State went out and whooped Wyoming a week ago?
If that was the opener and the offense did what we saw against San Jose State, it would have been a competitive game. And I think that's the biggest difference. At least the first 2 contests we've seen from the Lobos is how consistent they've been offensively. And unfortunately, they get the curveball thrown in. It's Trey Hall show this weekend, when this is the last thing you want, is to have to rely on your offense in a game against Nevada that Carson Strong is not just a good college quarterback. He has legit NFL hype and talent. And so that's going to be the challenge is, well, the one unit that you've liked offensively for the Lobos, you do not want to get in a shootout in this situation, but you're going to have to be very good and have that same level of, all right, you need to bail us out sometimes because we still have a ton of questions offensively with Trey Hall making his first start of the season.
Well, it'll be a shootout, and to your point with your backup quarterback, and their quarterback is really, really good, and so where are we going with this? And we'll see. Lobos are 17.5-point dogs at home in Nevada against Nevada. All right, the other games that you're going to get in the Mountain West Conference on Saturday is Fresno State's at Utah State. Fresno State's a 10-point favorite there. Hawaii at San Diego State in Carson. The Aztecs are an 11-point favorite. San Jose State is at home. They will get UNLV. That is a late game on Fox Sports 2, 8:30 our time kickoff. San Jose, what was the last time San Jose State was a 15.5-point favorite, period, in a game against an FBS team? Like, I'm going to guess it's been a long time. Wouldn't you say that?
It's been a while, and that's San Jose State. I love what they have done. You see the progression into year 4 with Brett Brennan. What happened last Friday was a huge statement for that team without Nick Starkel to go out there and win a game defensively and see your backup quarterback, who is your running quarterback, make plays down the football field. So they're a worthy Mountain West contender, but I think it does come down to Nick Starkel staying healthy. If he stays healthy, then they're in that conversation. If not, I think they're going to be good, but just short.
Let me tell you what was as impressive as them winning with their backup quarterback was what they did, I think, defensively. Now, San Diego State's never been a juggernaut offensively, but they held the Aztecs to 17 points. San Diego State had put up 34 and 38 against UNLV and Utah State the 2 prior weeks. Now, I'm not telling you those two teams have great defenses. My point is San Diego State looked like they had taken a step offensively. If there was, and they were 10-3 last year, and they won the bowl game. But you still wondered, could they score? They put up 48 points in the New Mexico Bowl, but other than that, they hadn't got out of the 20s, I don't believe, all year. They got 5 running backs. It looks like they got a quarterback who made decisions, and San Jose State shut them down defensively. And that's what was, as much as them winning with their backup quarterback, JJ, what they did defensively, to me, was impressive.
Oh, I agree, and was my biggest takeaway from that game is they Aztec'd the Aztecs. Won the game on the ground. Defense, Nash making the throws that he had to. And the Aztecs, they're good, but it's more of the same. To your point, they played bad defenses and they were able to overwhelm them on the ground. They played a good defense in San Jose State. And you take away the ground game and you still have a sophomore quarterback that hasn't proven or hasn't shown you yet that they can win a game if they have that taken away. And that's always been the question. You know how good San Diego State's going to be defensively. Yeah, they're going to run the football. What happens those few times that it gets taken away from them?
Put this one on your calendar, the 28th of November in Boise. San Jose State will be up there. Just a little bit on what they're doing defensively. They gave up 6 points to Air Force. Air Force has scored points. UNM scored 21 on them. And then San Jose State scored only 17. There's one thing I'm going to draw your attention to tomorrow, and it's a moment, and I will probably talk about it next week a little bit. And this isn't going to be the marquee of tomorrow, but it's something for me a little bit. It means something because I got familiar with the program. JJ, tomorrow will be the 50th anniversary of, I don't even know if arguably, the greatest tragedy, mass tragedy in athletics, and that's when the Marshall football team died. Everybody on board died, 60-something people died in a plane crash 50 years ago. You've seen the movie We Are Marshall. I'm thinking all of you have seen it. Tomorrow will be 50 years. And that's kind of why I wore my Thundering Herd New Mexico Bowl. And I almost put on the Marshall quarter zip today. Marshall will play at 10 o'clock tomorrow morning on CBS Sportsnet against Middle Tennessee. They're 24-point favorites. This was a special year going in for Marshall. This is a special year because the Thundering Herd, if you've not looked, is ranked 16th in the nation. They are 6-0. They've got special black uniforms that they're going to wear. There's going to be a big honor, a big ceremony. They're letting limited capacity into their games in West Virginia anyway. But if you know anything about the program, and when we had them in the New Mexico Bowl, it was 3 years ago now, and they beat Colorado State, and it was just an unbelievable group of people. But you know about the program, but I learned how deep that is, how much a part of basically everything they do. The whole We Are Marshall thing, the remembering, the making it a point to never forget. There's a whole hall with the names of everybody. There's still obviously family of the radio guy, the TV guy, the players who live in Huntington, West Virginia, and are still part of that program. If you get a chance, if you're flipping around and looking for something to watch in that 10 o'clock window, that may be something to watch. I saw a video yesterday on Twitter that was promoting that game. And JJ, I know you know a little bit about that story, but just another little something for you to take a look at this weekend that I think is special, and I think they're going to do a great job with that, because this is one of those, I don't know how you argue there's a bigger tragedy ever in sports when the plane went down and killed everybody involved with the program.
Yeah, it's unbelievable to think about that and what it would be like reacting to something like that, thinking about an entire program that, losing lives in a plane crash. And like you said, it's the connection that you still have, the families that were left behind but have moved forward, and then what that football program coming back then means to everyone in that community. It's a tremendous story. Just like I said, just unbelievable, just trying to think through that scenario. And yeah, I will be tuning in to check out Marshall, who is a very good football team this year.
Yeah, and I'll reach out. Maybe we'll get Doc Holliday in next week. But I became I just got ultimate respect for that program and what they've done. Mike Hamrick's the athletic director, who was at UNLV and left there to go back home to West Virginia. But yeah, if you're looking for something in that early window tomorrow, and there's always some big game, but go over to CBS Sportsnet and take a look and just kind of take in that story, because 50 years ago tomorrow is when that plane went down. 505-246-0610. I've got your calls coming in. I got emails to get to you as well. The question that we're asking, and I'll get you a Masters update as well, because the second round is now underway. Phil Mickelson's made a little bit of a move, and your leaderboard is just chock full of stars. But I asked you the question, basketball. Is that different? If you're basketball, this is a basketball state, and Rudy brought this up, Lobo Aggie basketball. Don't mess with my basketball. If your basketball teams cannot play here, if the money goes out of state, does that make you feel different about, well, United had to do it? Lobo, football. This is basketball. This is New Mexico. This is the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal.
Kirtland Federal Credit Union is proud to be a part of the Westside Alabama community with the opening.
The New Mexico High School Coaches Association, established in 1941, is an organization of New Mexico's best and most professional interscholastic coaches. Coaches across work daily to help our student athletes excel in the classroom, on the field of play, and in our communities. Students that participate in interscholastic activities attain higher grades, higher graduation rates, and higher wages. Responsible for the North-South All-Star Games, statewide Coaches Award Program, and providing multiple professional development opportunities for New Mexico's coaches. Be a great coach by coaching beyond the game.
Madrid plays it across the box off the dasher. It's settled. Shot up by Garcia. Trickles in. Goal.
Chavez blocked at the rim. And here's Dorian Lewis to Watson.
Shot on and just wide. Big deflection. Goal.
With his first field goal. Look at that. That's gorgeous.
Not a game you can go have 25 turnovers in and win.
Get that out of here, Watson says. Here comes Hodnett all the way. He's blocked in return. Dickey, did he get it off? He did, and he hit it. They're really... Oliveras. Wild three, and it hit.
Another steal nearly by Hiron. It is a steal. Avalos ahead to Hiron. The two-hand hammer by Hiron. I knew he was going to put that one down. ProView Networks tonight.
District matchup there.
Davidson took it away in transition. Might be time for a jam. Yes.
Oh! Big Barton, watch him, coach. Watch the inbounder.
Dumas Sanchez in the corner.
Back to Barton with 2.4 seconds left. Fires for the win.
And he got it!
And it's good.
Oh my God!
On the last second shot.
He did.
Oh my
God!
Makes it in from 25 feet and watch the celebration right in front of us. What a shot by Barton. He was double teamed and somehow found a way to get it in.
Ramos to Gaxiola, high window for the win. It's good. It counts. Gaxiola with the game winner for a Driscoll Heritage.
Get into the game with Garden Swartz Team Sales. They have everything you need from screen printing, embroidery, and digital printing services, high school letterman jackets, and all high school and club uniforms and individual and team apparel with the most reliable brands like Speedline, Rawlings, and Wilson. And don't forget to check out the latest F7 Shut helmet. It's all at Garden Swartz Team Sales. Give them a call, 505-884-1234. Garden Swartz Team Sales.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, green and red chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Cinnabons. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenpride@abq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs, proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
I mean, I'm just saying, what could go wrong?
Funky bus fare.
Oh, Friday the 13th, 2020. What a special day. And if that don't define something, I don't know what it is. Yeah. What's good, y'all? It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 670 Sports Animal. Dustin Johnson, Dylan Fratelli, Paul Casey at the top of the leaderboard. Round 2 is finally underway. Justin Thomas is out there. JJ Justin Thomas, who I told you was playing, I thought eye test as well as anybody, bogeyed his first hole, number 10 on round 2. So he's at -5, 2 strokes back, tied with guys like Xander Schauffele, Webb Simpson, Justin Rose. Phil Mickelson has made a birdie already in his second round. He is at -4, tied with that group at -4, which includes Tiger Woods, y'all. He goes off at 12:30 today, and we'll probably finish his second round tomorrow. It's been fun to watch on a special Friday. 2460610 is where we are. 888-922-0610. Watch us on the ProView Networks. Listen to us on The Sports Animal. Jess, good morning. I know where Jess is going, man. Jess is loving him some Tiger, I'm going to imagine. What's up, Jess?
Ooh, yeah. El Jefe.
Órale. Jess. What'd you do to Jess, man?
Ooh, yeah. El Jefe.
Yeah, you're on the air, man. Yeah,
okay.
You go.
Good.
Yeah.
So, before we get on to Tiger, I got to see you guys for the first time. I guess I'd never seen a hoe live. I'd only seen it over the air. And Jeff, you look like you're in a trance. JJ's hoeing while working. You can see him writing. I didn't know Brandon Vogt worked at ProView Networks. And Micah does look like Trevor Lawrence.
He does. And Josh looks like Brandon. Yeah. That's good. I'm glad you're watching.
So first off, explain something before we get to Tiger.
Yeah.
Rudy came on and called, and we're talking about losing money. So if we were going to play at the pit with no fans, that means no ticket sales, that means no merch, that means no concessions, and they got to play somewhere else. Explain to me where the loss of money is, though.
Well, I'll tell you, the cost of housing your team and feeding your team out of state. That's what he's talking about, the $280,000 that it's costing to take the football team to Nevada. The cost of doing that, of basically uplifting your entire program and spending that money and putting it in someone else's community instead of paying the people here to feed your team, those sorts of things.
Okay. Now I understand that part. I thought that maybe there was something else I was missing there. I mean, they're going to have to do what they have to do. I'm kind of more in the middle with this thing. I think we have to do the safe thing, but we still need common sense. I think the governor maybe has gone too far. But, this happens with business. This is how capitalism works. Jeff, you run a bowl game. Every year is different. Every year has different challenges. I mean, we talk about some restaurants closing around town. Anybody driven by a Dion's lately? I mean, you're waiting 40 minutes to pick your pizza up with that line. I mean, some businesses are booming because of this. Of course, some are down. I think it's just how it is. We're going to have to work through it, and I just wish that we could figure out some sort of common sense, especially when it comes to our pro teams. Because, like you said, with Rudy, that 280, where's that coming from? Because we're not getting any ticket sales. We're not getting anything coming in. We already have a budget loss from football season because of, it's not like we had a huge fan base going to the games. But I think it would have been better this year because of the hire and because of Rocky Long. So that's all gone. That's all out the window. So I guess we'll move on. I had messaged you while we were watching Tiger yesterday, and he did exactly what you and I thought he needed to do. Be right there. That's where you need to be, and then look good. You missed a couple close, could have put a couple more up, but he's right where it needs to be, especially in the 2 days where it's going to be a little wetter. A little wetter, that's gross. It's like one of the gross words, right? Moist. It's going to be moist the next 2 days over there in Georgia. So it'll dry up, they're saying, Saturday and Sunday, faster speeds, a little bit harder, maybe higher scores.
I think just to your point. Yeah, just let me jump in. I want you to finish. To your point, I think these guys who are playing this morning, while it's tougher to get up early and turn around and play, I think they got the advantage of playing this morning while it's moist and soft, and then playing their first round again. To the guys who played early yesterday, Tiger and that group are going to go out in the afternoon where the winds are going to pick up and it's going to dry out a little bit, and it's going to be tougher conditions for them. So I think these guys who played afternoon, morning have a little advantage, while yesterday I thought it was going to go the other way.
Right. And we'll see. You never know with the South. It could get bad, could get more rain. Who knows? And it's a little different watching the broadcast. I think my favorite thing is the audio. Here in Rays Creek, you're hearing a little bit more in the background. I think now I believe they fed in a lot of the bird noises. I think that was fake back in the day, because now you're hearing, you're hearing a little. But it's very interesting, and we'll go from there. It's a great leaderboard. I hope Phil and Tiger are there, and we'll go from there. You gentlemen have a wonderful weekend. Jeffrey, JJ, get your golf watching attire on. Looks like you guys are halfway with the upper part. I hope you guys are going commando in your sweatpants.
Want to see?
Gentlemen, have a great day.
Later. All right. That's good. By the way, did you see Rory? He was just hunting. It looked like he was hunting for crawdads or something. I mean, just in the thick azaleas. Jess is a big Tiger guy. He came in yesterday with that call, and Tiger's right where he is. Now, I'll tell you, these guys in the morning are playing in softer conditions. It will be interesting to see the afternoon groups, because it should get a little windier and absolutely will get drier.
You want to see the adversity. You want to see some toughness. Sometimes it's just the luck of the draw when you get to hit a course with the conditions, and it's been very gettable. And to your point, early, if you can build yourself that buffer, get on the plus side, because I think the cut line is probably going to be a little bit higher than we all anticipated with the way that these guys are playing.
Yeah. All right. 505-246-0610 is where you can get in today. 888-922-0610. Guys making moves at the Masters. We'll get into that. I want your thoughts on Lobo football this weekend against Nevada. So now you're 2 weeks in. What do you expect now? What do you expect to see this weekend? You got a backup quarterback and you're playing against probably the best offense in the league. What do you expect to see this week out of your Lobo football team? And then we're having the continued conversation about Lobo basketball, Aggie basketball, where, when, how, and should they? Hey, does your credit card pay you? Does your credit card pay you? If you've got the Independence credit card from Kirtland Federal Credit Union, you're getting 1.5% unlimited cash back with every single purchase. It seems like a no-brainer, doesn't it? Tank of gas, they give you back 1.5%. Buying those holiday gifts, 1.5%. Morning coffee, 1.5%, no limits. Take a look at your bill at the end of the month. Would you like to get 1.5% back? I know I would. We all got to pay for things, and if you're not earning some of that back, you don't have the Independence credit card. Awesome rates, easy and fast approval. Get started today at kirtlandfcu.org/credit card. That's kirtlandfcu.org/credit card. Apply today. Kirtland Federal Credit Union, they are more than military. They are for life. Kirtland Federal Credit Union is an equal housing lender federally insured by the NCUA.
The New Mexico High School Coaches Association, established in 1941, is an organization of New Mexico's best and most professional interscholastic coaches. Coaches across work daily to help our student athletes excel in the classroom, on the field of play, and in our communities. Students that participate in interscholastic activities attain higher grades, higher graduation rates, and higher wages. Responsible for the North-South All-Star Games, statewide Coaches Award Program, and providing multiple professional development opportunities for New Mexico's coaches. Be a great coach by coaching beyond the game.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walk up to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
Call it as Javi's looking, and he's got a guy wide open, and it's Gay, and he's gonna walk into the end zone. But he did a good job with it. First and goal, it's Chavez to the middle, and Chavez starts.
Stevens in motion. On the handoff to Mitchell. Look out! Oh, see you later. Take it to the house. Fly. Cardinals fly. To the other side, provide some protection. And Off to Webskowski again. Look out. See you later. Good night. Touchdown, Webskowski. An 8. 2 receivers at the top. Harris has all day. He's going to fire to the end zone. Open man. Touchdown. Wildcat. Not a defender inside.
A little bit.
Webskowski on the sideline. Hasta mañana. He's off to the races. Touchdown, Clovis.
Albuquerque this afternoon.
34-24. Rancho late in the third. How about this run? Nice play. Dickerman. He's still on his feet. Touchdown, Wolverine.
Exactly what they want to get yards.
He's going to go for it. He's got a guy towards the end zone. It's grabbed. Touchdown. What a play.
And long here for the Storm. Handoff to, we're going to fake the handoff, excuse me. Davidson on the deep ball. He's got some space, and it's caught. Still on his feet. Touchdown, Storm. Wow. Santa Maria.
So they'll send one deep and returnable at the 2. Usually Volcano do either a reverse or a fake reverse, and here it is a reverse. And a move to the outside. There is a lane. Look out! Shot out of a cannon. Rodriguez is going to take it all the way.
Freddie Freeman of the Atlanta Braves, National League Most Valuable Player. Jose Abreu, Chicago White Sox, American League Most Valuable Player. As postseason awards continue to come out. That was yesterday. I know Dodger fans are saying it's got to be Mookie, but I don't know how closely you watch the Braves. I've got zero argument on Freddie Freeman as National League Most Valuable Player. Zero. You?
Nope, I don't have an argument for it. I think Freddie Freeman was fantastic, as was the AL winner in Jose Abreu, who had a fantastic year, a resurgence. You know, he's one of the guys that's been in the game for a little while. And you're like, wait, he's still in Chicago with the White Sox? He wasn't traded at some point in time to a contender? No, because he stayed. That team turned it around. He was fantastic. Now, off such a great season for the White Sox, they are full of controversy because the owner just had to go hire his buddy to be manager, who happens to have some issues.
He's got an issue. You got to say, what is he, 108 years old? And he got a DUI a couple weeks ago or months ago. The guys don't want to play for him, and they think he's racist. And they think, who did I see? Which free agent was it the other day who tweeted, "I'm not going to go play for an old, seemingly racist alcoholic"? Did you see that tweet?
No.
Yeah, it was a free agent, and obviously isn't going to sign with the White Sox. But yeah, that was
that's
that's quite an allegation. Yeah, that's quite an allegation. Yeah. All right, this morning, Cleveland Browns, who play this weekend against who they play. Mike, I know it's all right in front of you. Who the Browns play this weekend? They're 3-point favorites over somebody. Who the Browns play. So anyway, they have closed their facility. This morning, a player tested positive. They put out a statement that said that player is self-isolated. They'll continue to hold their meetings remotely as part of the intensive protocol that will consult with medical experts. And they're hoping to play the Texans on Sunday. Yeah. I beat you to it. Come on.
Well, all our games are to be announced this Sunday, so I wasn't sure.
Okay, they play the Texans on Sunday. So, and I believe that game's in Cleveland. So I don't know if that game's going to happen or not. You can sit around, but that's the NFL news this morning. Of course, last night, 34-17, Colts beat the Titans in Thursday Night Football. Special teams. What do you think of Rivers last night? Rivers is pretty good when he doesn't have to come from behind at the end and throw the ball away. Do you have any confidence? Because I told you I've really kind of lost it. I think Phillip Rivers is on that last leg, and the leg's getting worn out. I don't have a ton of, and I love Phillip Rivers. I love everything he's done in the NFL. I like his demeanor. I love his attitude, his crazy, unorthodox throwing motion that looks like a shot put. I just don't think he's the guy. And they got an elite defense, as we talked about earlier. I love Phillip Rivers. I just don't love Phillip Rivers in this situation.
Indianapolis has a top 3 defense in the NFL, not just AFC, in the National Football League. I still have them. I'm higher on them right now than I was prior to Thursday night's game.
How can you not be?
Better.
How come you stopped? How come I stopped hearing you? Okay. Sorry,
and that wasn't the case.
I didn't hear you.
So Thursday night did show a lot for me. I look at the AFC right now, and I wrote it down in front of me. And this is how I have it as of Friday morning. What time is it? 8:52.
Friday
Mountain Standard Time. Kansas City, Pittsburgh, Baltimore, Buffalo, Indianapolis, Tennessee, Miami, Las Vegas, and Cleveland.
Say that again. Kansas City. Yeah.
Pittsburgh.
Okay.
Baltimore, Buffalo, Phillip Rivers, Tennessee, Miami, Las Vegas, Cleveland.
Yeah, I mean, those are the teams in contention. I think Kansas City's the best. I know Baltimore got beat by Pittsburgh, and so you've got to put them in front. I still think when it's all said and done, Baltimore is going to be better than Pittsburgh. And Baltimore is going to be all about their quarterback play. And we sit here, we haven't had this conversation. And I still like me some Lamar Jackson. But of the quarterbacks that we've watched, so every team you mentioned right there, okay, every team, except for Indianapolis. Well, no, their quarterback plays better than it was last year. Every team on that list, their quarterback play, yeah, you could say Tannehill's regressed the last 3, but they played really good teams. Everybody's quarterback play has improved except for Baltimore. And I would say that Lamar is one of the guys, and look, I'm not telling you he's done. I'm not telling you he's horrible. I'm going to tell you I think he's regressed a little bit in the first half of this season.
The numbers say it's absolutely a regression in terms of yards per game, rushing, touchdowns scored offensively. Now, the thing, Baltimore has a defense that's going to give them a chance to figure that out. Because if you look at those teams with questionable quarterbacks, you still believe that Lamar Jackson and the Ravens can be the most explosive offense. If we're talking about an Indianapolis or Miami or Vegas in that conversation, you still believe that, yeah, that's going to be the best of the bunch if they can figure it out because they've done it at such a high level.
There's the majority of me thinks that Lamar Jackson is going to figure it out in the back end of the season. As it gets colder, as their defense gets better, they're gonna they got what 3 running backs with no order: Ingram, Dobbins. I really like Gus Edwards. I think they're made for a late run in the season, and I do believe that coaching staff is going to get Lamar to that point and figure it out. But he's not been good, and to me that's the only reason they were my pick for the Super Bowl out of the AFC, and because I thought Lamar was going to continue to progress. I thought he was going to continue to get better. I thought last year he made as big of strides as any quarterback in the NFL. I thought it was so impressive. And then, I thought them losing in the first round last year was going to kind of be a learning moment and an impetus for them. Do you think I'm just believe what I see and that's what he is, or do you think that he improves back into the season?
Oh, he can regress to the mean positively. They've taken a step back. You understand they probably weren't going to be as explosive this season with to get, football and adjustments, but Lamar can be better. That offense can be better. So I agree with you. I have more trust in the Ravens being a higher level team because of that offense. Now, I will say, speaking of quarterbacks, Phillip Rivers, what a prima donna. It is just amazing that that man will still not do a quarterback sneak, that they have to bring in Jacoby Brissett to do that at the goal line or in short yardage situations, because it's something that cost them earlier when they had to go out of the shotgun on that 4th and goal. Just run a quarterback sneak, Phillip.
Will he not do it, or will they not? He won't do it. They won't let him do it.
He won't do it.
All right, that's interesting. All right, Nick Nee next. The head PGA professional at the San Diego Golf Club. Let's talk some Masters. Man, is it fun. DJ putting for the outright lead. I'll tell you how he did. It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal and ProView Networks.
Dorian over. Did he get in?
Yeah, they got in. He got in.
Touchdown, Dorian Lewis.
Seconds to play. Benavides looking, still looking up the middle. It's intercepted. It's picked off by Freddie Anaya, and Roswell's season will end perfect.
Second quarter, 2nd and 4 for Socorro at the whole 44-yard line. McDaniel trying, good block by Hicks. First down and more, 30, 25, 20. McDaniel might be gone. Touchdown.
Wow.
Touchdown for Michael McDaniel.
It's 40 seconds this year. It's not like 25 like it used to be.
He laterals it back. What a play by Hightower. Pitch.
Looked like somebody moved a little bit early. Hicks, the play fake double move. He's got his receiver wide open. Caught. One man to beat. Touchdown. Touchdown to number 17, Nathaniel.
Third and 6. Big defensive play coming up here. Little trickery to Reese. See you later. Touchdown. They went for the deep ball to Reese.
To the right, single receiver split to the left. Play fake, head up the middle, got some room. 50, 45, 40, has one man to beat. 30, 25, 10, 5, touchdown. Touchdown, Hope.
Wow.
On a
Option again, he'll keep it. Now he'll pitch it. Comes out to the 30, 25, 20, up the sideline. Still inbounds into the end zone. Let's see.
Touchdown.
Touchdown. Portell.
The outside of running an out route.
Davis sending a play action, looking. He's going to go back to Lewis, and Lewis makes a cut, and Lewis still on his feet. Dorian Lewis is in for a touchdown. Back to toss, and he's got all day. It's one miss, and he's rolling. He's got a guy. Can he get it there? Davison to Luke Weissong.
Hey, we told you he
touchdown.
Could spin that football, and that was a throw right there. I know he's got the win at his back, but
Lovato driving. They're going to count it. Guy goes, ooh, a little spin and a finish. Here's Natalia Chavez, good spin. Takes a
stop too.
Play with the camera a little bit. Oh, there's a. Hill, little step, high window, and a.
Got the second.
To the middle.
Here we go. 3.9. It's Cooper's going to run with it. Cooper's going to swing it out to Lowry. Lowry. Portillo couldn't get it off, and Clovis. It's waved off. He did not get it off in time. Portillo.
Reverse layup. Gallegos spins. Window finishes.
There's a run coming from lazy pass. Here comes Crawford. It might be
-7 to Paul Casey. -7 at the top of the Masters. This is a Friday unlike any other. The Masters. Why is it a Friday unlike any other? Jeff, we get Masters every year. Not in November, you don't. Not with like a round and a half, you don't. Not to get up at 5:30 in the morning and watch the best players in the world go and finish a round, and then 20 minutes later start their second round, you don't. Oh, JJ, it's a Friday unlike any other. The Masters. And it's really, really fun. And boy, you got guys at the top. And interesting stories. Look at 50-year-old Phil Mickelson, 4 under par, tied for ninth.
He can still stand.
He can still stand. Look at 45-year-old Tiger Woods, -4, tied for ninth. Look at 63. That's right. 63-year-old Bernhard Langer, -4, and
Gonna
tied
miss
for
the dinner
ninth.
buffet.
Oh, he's got the early tea time. He'll be plenty fine. He'll finish early. He's going out now. He'll be done and be able to get to Denny's for a Grand Slam early on. Actually, isn't he a past champion? I think Butler's Cabin feeds the past champions very well.
Special room.
That's right,
They
the
can go to.
special room. Nick Nee is the head PGA professional at the Siembieda Golf Club. He joins us on the Quan's Auto Care Hotline. I would imagine you're enjoying a Friday unlike any other. Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Happy Masters Week, and it's exciting. It's awesome to see this, and these guys are playing some phenomenal golf.
It's ridiculous, isn't it? I'm watching them throw darts, and we were just having the conversation. Yesterday, I thought the guys who went out early had an advantage, but now I'm thinking it's the other way because these guys are playing early, basically 2 rounds, and it gets windy and dry this afternoon. This afternoon morning group really is going to have an advantage, aren't they?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, I think with the conditions that are going to be in the afternoon and the weather getting better as it progresses through the weekend out in Augusta, I'd agree completely with that.
Dustin Johnson now has taken the lead at 8 under and hit a beautiful tee shot on 13, and he's going to have another birdie shot. Who do you like, man? I told JJ I watched Justin Thomas, and the eye test told me he was phenomenal. DJ this morning has been great. And Tiger shooting his first bogey-free first round ever at Augusta is pretty impressive.
Yeah, and saw a crazy stat last night. You know, with how well he played in the first round, other 3 events, he's won 2 of them and tied for second. So history is certainly on his side, and he knows how to play that golf course. He loves it. Obviously, it fits his eye, and he knows how to get the ball around. I still like Xander. You know, he's at 5 under, and he'll tee off late today, so he's got a while to let the golf course kind of progress and dry out, and hopefully, you know, be able to put a number up at least for 9 holes and then into his second round tomorrow. So I like him. DJ is, if that guy putts as well as he's putting, he's going to be hard to beat. But it's early. It's a long way to go.
Nick Nee is the head PGA professional at the Siembieda Golf Club, joining us on a Friday unlike any other.
Nick, of all the things that we've talked about, we haven't really got into what it's like teeing off at an event with no people. You know, it's all of us, you know, the everyday common folk. You know, we go to the golf course, we hit it, we're used to those views. But they were talking this week how the fairways look different when you're on the tee because there's not 100 people, you know, hundreds of people around you kind of narrowing your focus.
Yeah, absolutely. The club pros that usually go with us out to this event, we all were talking how crazy it looks without grandstands and or patrons out there. So it's got to be different, you know. They're able to, you know, pick their lines off of, you know, some towers or whatnot. Now they got to use trees. So just how it sets up to these guys' eye is going to be different, because normally it is lined from tee to green with patrons and grandstands and leaderboards and TV towers. But it's got to be, for the players, I would think it's got to be calming to not have all that, right? To be able to step up on the tee and not have hundreds of people line the first tee all the way down the hill, all the way up to the green. You know, it just feels probably a lot easier for them to make it feel like just a regular round of golf, even though it's not.
Explain Bernhard Langer. Now, look, I'm not telling you I think he's going to win. We've watched Fred Couples over the years in his upper 50s have really good first rounds. Heck, even get through the third round. Go doing 4 rounds at this pace with these guys. I'm not telling you he's an old man. Look at him. I mean, he could kick my butt. But what that man's doing at 63 years old to be sitting there on the first page of the leaderboard is pretty ridiculous.
Absolutely. He is probably one of the most enjoyable players to watch hit range balls. One of the best spots at Augusta National is right there at the back of the tournament practice area. And just to watch these guys hit golf balls, and he hits the ball so well with his irons, and he can chip it. You know, they have little flags up the side of the range, and I think it was 2-3 years ago, he was hitting balls, and he probably didn't hit 4 of them outside 4 feet from these flags that were about every 10 yards. So his wedge play is really good. He's a great iron player, and you know, he knows how to shape it. And when you have that, he's able to putt as well. So not surprised, because he hits the ball is so well, and his ball striking is one of the best.
All right, let me hit two JJ favorites, John Rahm and Bryson. They played together. They both had a tough start. Bryson dug his ball. He got so lucky digging his ball out, finding it in Azalea, and got 2 club lengths that actually gave him a shot. He double bogeyed. That was early, but came back. Where do you see John Rahm and Bryson going over the next few days?
I was shocked with John Rahm's round. You know, I thought he would play a little bit better. Bryson's just going to swing, and he's going to play his misses. And if his miss is big, that's the secret at Augusta National. If you can't miss it 5 yards off the fairway, you got to miss it 50, because 50 is in another hole that you probably have an angle. 5 is just, you know, you're in jail because of the trees and the rough, and now with it being wet. You know, I think they'll both kind of steer the ship in their second round. I think they'll be okay, but I was shocked with John Rahm, because I thought with how good he hits the driver working it left to right, he would put himself in position to score well, and he just didn't. So wasn't too surprised with Bryson, because you can't overpower a golf course, you know, sideways. You got to be able to put it in the fairway at Augusta.
Yeah, what is it? So DeChambeau was 4 under on the fairways he hit and 3 over on the misses. And that like sums it up in his first round, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that paints the picture pretty clear.
Yeah, right. That's why you want to hit fairways. A hell of a lot easier playing out of fairways than pine straw. All right, DJ just made another birdie, so he's 2 up. All right, you got a golf tip, Nick?
I do. Really good chipping drill. We're just going to do the VJ drill that I actually saw at Augusta in the practice area. He just chips cross-handed. It helps take out the flip. It helps keep the hands leading. So all you're going to do is you're going to flip your hands, not a conventional grip. So right-handed player, your left hand is going to be lower than your right hand. You're going to cross-hand it. We're just going to hit little pitch shots. You can start with hitting the putter just off of the green to get a feel, and then we're going to do it with the wedge. And what you're going to see is better ball striking on those short swings, but also how the hands lead and how we're not going to flip the club through, and how the hands and the body rotate together with our hands being with a cross-handed grip. So give it a try. Again, start with a putter, flip those hands to a cross-handed grip, and take the flips out of hitting chip shots.
So is that just a drill, or do you suggest chipping during your rounds cross-handed?
If you got confidence with it, go ahead and do it. But I use it just as a drill. And then when I'm playing around the golf, I kind of have that same feel where I'm just continuing to rotate. My hands are leading, I don't go cross-handed. I just don't know that I trust it all that much. But if you get comfortable with it and you feel that you're more confident that way, VJ does it in tournament rounds. So it's something you can do. It's just based off your comfort level.
All right. Siembieda Golf Club is still your spot. Championship Club memberships are now available. What do you guys got going on out there?
Yeah, we had to do a little system kind of hiccup for us. So that's going to go on sale November 23rd for the Champions Club. It'll be $169. All the details will be online at SiembiedAGolf.com in terms of benefits and current rates for a Champions Club member. That is the cheapest rate that we offer. So make Sandia your home for 2021. Join that Champions Club November 23rd. Tee times can be booked online with current rates listed there as well, or call the golf shop at 798-3990.
All right. Enjoy yourself. I know you will. You working this weekend, or are you just going to put Miles on the couch?
I'm putting Miles on the couch watching the greatest tournament there is.
It's going to be fun. All right. Enjoy yourself. We'll talk to you next week. Thank you, Nick.
Thank you. You all have a great weekend.
Nick Nee, head PGA professional at Siembieda Golf Club. So cross-handed chip, it actually, as I'm doing it here, JJ, it makes sense. Instead of flipping your wrists while you're chipping, your hands lead. I love how he thinks, just some of the drills. But I know he's gone to the Masters a lot. Just to stand there on the practice green and watch the best of the world and go, look at that drill, and he utilizes that in his teaching. If you're looking for a PGA professional, by the way, he's one of the best.
Visual learning.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Get your leaderboard. Get back. I want to get back into last night's Boise State game. Did you watch the game? Did you listen to it? Mountain West has a new television package. JJ's a big fan of it, and I understand why, but I didn't like it last night. It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610 Esports Animal.
Join us for your favorite rock holiday.
Shoot, they'll get one off and it'll count high off the window.
Oh my gosh.
There's a long three.
Boom.
Bang. Martinez will beat the buzzer. Got it to go. His
Fork driving kick. Three's in the air. It's good. Pass on the nice block by Hernandez Crawford.
And Brown in the transition. But why not, Steve? Is Corbalan's going to go and he puts it away. And Corbalan wants to put it down. Here comes Las Cruces. Brown, you can't leave him alone. Put it down.
Gershon in transition, 3-on-2. Gershon going to go all the way. Whoa, Morgan.
Moreno extra pass. And Watson. Out with it, Gallegos, and he's going to run all the way. Window, yes! Able to get out of it. How did he find Battle? It's to Cunningham, and it...
I mean, Ramos' hand.
Ramos puts it up, beats the buzzer!
Boy, Jefferson wide open.
Jefferson to Daraji! into Watson with the jam.
Far with the ball.
Another steal by Davina Lovato, and here comes Agbaiosi. Lob, two-hand hammer. You knew that was coming. Provie Network is all over the place. Heck about the lob to Agbaiosi, the one-hand hammer.
Put up. And a drive from Parham. Ramos wants another.
Opportunity here. Martinez shoots, he scores.
Got into it. They've had some nice looks at the rim. Win. Inside. They're not going to miss this one. Two-hand hammer from Murillo.
Ball's played up. Rodriguez with it. Gonna settle. Looks to the inside. Comes to the far side push. Shot on and goal. Deflected in. No.
Dorian's gonna go all the way. It was blocked by the rim. Get it out, says Kobe Wade. Ramos, got it. Look out. Ramos, can he chase it down? It was a freebie. Saved it. And then stolen. And somehow Hasbury's got it back. Handoff. Watson.
Stripped. Galeon stripped him. Come Highland the other way. Win up top to the big goal. Here he comes.
For the lead. Got it.
What a great game plan. Look at this.
Agbaiosi throws it down.
Ramos, rise and fire. He's fouled.
You know, he used to coach for Del Norte. And
Here's Voss all the way with the finish. He'll get the. Behind the back of the dribble. Trying to go up with the right hand. He changed hands in midair. And Hotnet sent it away.
Schedule for the Aggies. Yesterday announced New Mexico State will play New Mexico Highlands University on February 28th. So Chris sent me a note, and it says New Mexico Highlands versus New Mexico State, February 28th on the football schedule. Check both. They're both on there. He says New Mexico Highlands full of New Mexico kids. Go Cowboys. Beat the Aggies. So the Aggies have 3 games on the schedule to play Highlands, Tarleton State, and Dixie State, not necessarily in that order as they're putting together a schedule. JJ, when we saw this was happening, and it's the opening drive, Jeff, JJ, Micah, Alden, and Josh producing on Proview Networks, we're like, well, who are they going to play? I mean, it's going to have to be a bunch of FCS schools and even lower divisions, and That's what it is. I don't know, and there's some of you who think this is a precursor for the future. I don't know that I'm there yet, but this is the best they can do. Doug Martin told us they're hoping to play 4 to 5 games and just kind of get some games in, and so the year isn't lost, and that's essentially going to be their spring practice.
Yeah, I think they've done a good job putting that schedule together. Of course, a lot of WAC ties with teams that are joining the WAC to play basketball but have football programs at a lower level. I'm not sold on it either, that being a viable FBS football conference. I still think that while it's a long shot, I know New Mexico State would love, obviously, to join an established league, because I think it'd just be really tough to get footing with, even if there's, if Tarleton State and Dixie State, even if there's a level of investment, at some point, even at the FBS level, do you have a tipping point with just what's available, etc. But for what they were given and for how they've been able to at least give their players something in the spring, that glorified spring schedule, they've done a good job.
Yeah. All right, let's go. 246-0610. Sean, thanks for holding. You're up on the Quan's Auto Care Hotline. Good day, sir.
How's it going, folks?
It's all right, Sean. How are you?
Can't complain. So, a couple things. I'm from Scotland. We invented the game of golf. You guys need to stop complaining about some moisture.
Nobody's complaining.
Constantly.
Nobody's complaining. I think, in fact, they love the moisture because it's softened up that golf course, and they love it.
Good. So, second thing.
I think they don't like the word.
Henry, why are you splitting so many carries with that guy? He took, what? I think it was 19-something, 20-odd carries, 100 yards. Why don't you keep feeding that guy the ball more? 35 carries for the whole team, half of them for Henry. Do you think he was used well enough?
Nope.
He got hurt. He didn't play in the second half. No.
All right, then. There you go.
That may be the reason. So, a couple other things. Quinnen Williams is a pure delight for the Jets to have. That guy has stayed smiling through the worst that the Jets can throw at him. It's amazing that the guy still has any joy left in his spirit and his soul. It's a good thing to see. That is a guy that you build around if I'm Joe Douglas. But let's look at Darnold's draft class. Mayfield, Darnold, Lamar Jackson, all of those guys have question marks. The only one that we're really sure of, Bills Mafia is really sure of, is Josh Allen. Rosen.
Isn't that crazy?
Rosen, just a lost cause.
Yeah, Rosen's backing up Tommy. It's funny that you make that point, because I think Josh Allen came in with the most question marks, right? Out of all of them.
He was the kid from Wyoming that couldn't do anything but just throw the deep ball, right?
Yeah. That's it. It had a big arm, and I don't even think he got the credit for being as mobile as he is when he was coming out. All right, Sean, enjoy the weekend, but that's a great point, and I know we'll talk to you next week. Sean, call us at 246.
Appreciate you guys. Thank you.
Yeah, be well. It is kind of crazy, that draft class. That right now, I don't know. Would you take? So it was Baker, it was Darnold, it was Josh Allen, it was Lamar, and Josh Rosen.
Yes.
Who are you taking? I mean, it's between Lamar and Josh Allen. I think you're taking Josh Allen, right?
You're taking Josh Allen, as that team has given him weapons. He has improved his accuracy. I think Lamar Jackson, if you want to judge him off being a passer, then he's never going to pass the eye test for you. But given the way they've built the team around him and his skill set, it's those two guys by a mile. I'm still on Lamar Jackson. You're right, he has regressed, but that's a dude that the way that team plays, how good they are defensively, it's going to give him a chance to right the ship and be a team in the postseason. That's a problem.
Yeah, Grady, good morning. You're on the Quan's Auto Care Hotline. Hello, Grady.
Enjoyers of Sean's dulcet, spicy tones of the OD in the AM. What's going on?
Lots, man. How you living? You all right?
Yeah, I'm doing all right. It's a little cool up here in the village this morning, but we're doing all right.
It's mid-November, dude. That's what happens.
Yeah. I'm a little confused, though. So I'm trying to follow the science. So science tells us if you isolate, wear a mask, you bubble up, you're safe. Or your risk is mitigated. your risk is more mitigated than not.
Okay.
So then we have teams that are doing just that, and it's proven that it is working. With the exception of the NBA, there have been serious outbreaks, but let's just call it. Let's just say it's working to a degree.
Well, it's working better than it is in society, right? I mean, can we agree with that? The rates, the numbers are lower than they are in society.
Absolutely,
Uncontrolled
and that's where I'm going.
Yeah.
So we have the quote-unquote general public at large who is not following the science, who is not doing these things, are upset that a governor isn't allowing more activity while not following the science, but then the teams that are following the science can't be in the society that as a whole that isn't. Again, that's where I'm confused. 'Cause I do remember a while back someone with a doctor in front of their name saying that come the fall, come the colder weather, that there are going to be spikes. So, okay. So now the problem isn't the fact that these teams have found ways, quite frankly, ways to stay safer and around the state's rules and continue to play. Now the problem is we're paying too much money for this. So I thought the initial gripe was we want our football, we want our basketball. And if you think people in this state are crazy about college basketball, think about all of us that are wanting high school basketball. So we want all this to happen, but we don't want to have our personal freedoms encroached upon. So that I'm confused about that now. And here's the rub. So the players, they are forced to comply, correct? They are forced to isolate. No. They are forced to wear masks. They are.
If they opt in, they opt in under the premise that they will abide by all of this protocol. If they opt in.
So if they opt in, they don't have a choice but to follow the rules to be safe, correct?
I believe that's right.
So they opt in, forego their personal freedoms, so they can stay safe and keep their teammates safe. But we're mad at a governor who wants to try to extend some of those to the public at large. So I'm kind of going back.
I don't think that's what people are mad about, Grady. I think people are angry that because with them doing that and everything they're doing, they're not permitted to play like everybody else in the country is. That's what we're. Well, but they're not playing in their state. They're not playing here. Yes, they are playing. They were forced to go somewhere else. Yes.
Because then I thought, well, all those black lives that mattered and all their wishes and dreams that wanted to come true and go to college and play ball. Well, they're playing ball. So again, these targets keep moving and the arguments keep shifting. And really, what it boils down to, in my opinion, is people want to be entertained. People are mad that they're not able to be entertained, and their priorities are let them comply, I won't, and I'll be happy.
All right. Maybe that's part of the argument. I hear what you're saying. All right. No, I appreciate it, man. Enjoy the weekend, and we'll talk. So do you hear what he's saying?
Yes, there's the element of they'll do everything right, and kind of we'll do our own thing. I just think that potentially can happen with some people. But ultimately, it goes back to a one-size-fits-all model isn't going to work with the varying levels of protocols, ability, things that people are asked to do in their individual lives.
Yeah. All right. I want to get more into that when we get back. I'll get you updated on the leaderboard because it's moving again too. And it's an interesting conversation. We'll dive into what he had to say, and you can respond to 246-0610 because I'm not sure I agree with the entirety of that call. I agree with the premise, but not the entirety of it. I do agree that harsh winter weather's coming, not just in the village up there, but everywhere. It's mid-November, going to be December and January, and that winter weather is not good to your vehicle. Give your paint job the protection it needs. Get yourself a visit from On the Spot Auto Detailing. They will come to you and apply by hand a wax that protects your clear coat from hard water stains and sun damage. Much better than the spray-on stuff that those drive-through car washes spray on there and then it washes away. And I did tell you from On the Spot Auto Detailing, they come to you. The process is amazing. The product is amazing. They detail your vehicle while you're doing your life, while you're working, while you're playing, whatever it is you do. You're inside, they're outside in the driveway or the parking lot, and they detail your car inside, outside, and when they're done, it looks, feels, smells like the day you took it off the lot. Call On the Spot Auto Detailing. I love what they do. 505-859-2859. 505-859-2859, or go to otsdetailing.com.
The 25...
Wynn doing a really good job denying Chavez. BC hasn't got the ball. Oh, Yeku. Oh. Against Watson. Oh, look at the spin move.
Ball's loose. DJ Bustos brings it up. Barnes Tompkins, alley-oop. How about it? That was redunculous.
Turnover. Cable to the big fella might try to jam one home.
I'll just get a little closer.
Oh, instead it's a gorgeous pass.
Here's what
Hill's gonna just shoot it.
He's going to go all the way.
He's gonna fire at the buzzer and he hits.
Great pass, Hadbury, and thank you very much.
Tie in the district. Inside. Fly. Eagle.
Chavez uses some athleticism. And then Morris down low, able to finish. You called it, Steve, in 10 seconds. And look at this. Stripped, stolen Watson. Kristen Lucero beats the buzzer. Here's Ian Chavez, the sharpshooter. Got it.
Said that any better. He answered the question. He
On
got
a
another
steal
one.
at the buzzer. Back to back for Chavez.
To the paint. Medina from the volleyball lines. Medina wants another one from deep. Oh, he wants 10. Give him 10.
Lewis finds Watson. He's going to finish. One-handed slam. Vista, but just all the different scenarios we could see potentially play out ahead of the state tournament.
space. He gives it off to Rivas for the three, and he buries it.
Could be coming in soon. Double kick set for Avalos. Goes to the right. Avalos puts it up high. Window. Scores it as foul.
Right here by Lewis all the way, coast to coast, and finish.
What a...
Around the screen. Against White. Step back. It's blocked. JB with the block.
In transition. Ahead to hit on. Hit on for the two-hand hammer.
Minutes to go. They've got a shot. They have a chance, and it's put up, and it's good. What a three that is by Jalen.
Hito puts it up.
Rebound Cowboys. Right side David Hall. Thank you very much. Here come the Cowboys. Domina Lovato lays it up. Missed it. Hey, how about it? Thank you, Luscious. Thank you very much, Raquan Mitchell.
All right, you got one of the best players in the world who is on a freaking roll at Augusta. Dustin Johnson, who played really well, finished his first round this morning, turned it around 20 minutes later, is birdied 3 of the first 4 holes. He's on Amen Corner right now, playing the backside first at the Masters. The second round is underway. And Dustin Johnson has opened up a 3-stroke lead. He is minus 10 at the Masters and has a 3-stroke lead over the field at Augusta. Tiger will tee off at 12:30 this afternoon, but you got guys going out there. Paul Casey still at minus 7 with Cameron Smith. But it's going in great entertainment. Opening drive, Jeff, JJ, Micah, Josh, and Alden. 505-246-0610. Let's go to it. Jeffrey, good day, sir. You're on the opening drive. How you living?
I'm living good. Just to add to what I think Grady pointed out, maybe another layer of perspective, the fact that Lobo football and it looks like basketball, those programs would be afforded the opportunity to play it all, granted with, and albeit with certain numerous restrictions applied to them relative to the other programs around the league. Well, companies and business sectors like mine have been deemed non-essential. My company, and I'm not calling for the purposes of woe is me, but I've lost over $100,000 this year because my company was deemed non-essential. So I can't even operate my business. Today at 1 o'clock, the governor is going to come forth with probably some other very restrictive regulations on possibly the restaurant industry now operating at 25% in capacity. And if she eliminates indoor dining, what's that going to do to something like 30,000 people who are employed in that sector? So when people complain about Lobo football, and keep in mind, I'm a lifelong basketball fan. I could care less about UNM football. I'm being completely honest with you. But Lobo basketball, I do have passions about. But the fact that they can play it all, I recognize that that's really a privilege to some degree when you think about other economic sectors that have been deemed non-essential. We can't even operate at all.
Yeah, so and you're right. If you could take your business to Nevada or Arizona and do it there, and I know your business is absolutely tied to here, would you? My point is, they are fortunate that they're able to pick up and go somewhere else. They're basically not allowed to do business in this state. And I say business, but and athletics is a business, and I think we all know that. No, I understand what you're saying. They're fortunate in the respect where they're able to adapt, where so many of our businesses are not able to.
Yeah, and again, I think JJ made the point. There is no universal one-size-fits-all strategy. But having said that, to embrace this premise that we're all in this together, that's the most false statement of the year as far as I'm concerned, and it's just something to be recognized. Some industries have been hurt more than others. Some entertainment sectors, like sports, they've been allowed to play. Those of us that enjoy sports, we should appreciate under limited conditions that we're able to even view our teams, even though those restrictions have been applied. Because, as I said, other sectors have been completely wiped out and not even allowed to operate. Period. So anyway, there it is. Thank you.
That's good. Thank you. Look, his perspective's right. And to his point, we're all in this together. We hear that a lot. Kind of all in it for ourselves. How do we figure it out? How do we do it? I know that sounds horrible, but I mean, JJ, we all got to figure out right now how we're going to do it. You know, and I don't know what the governor's going to say today. I think we all have our thoughts, and we'll hear it at 1 o'clock. But his point on the hospitality industry, like my gut sinks. My gut sinks, my heart sinks when I think about going backwards and what it's going to do to some of these industries. And how are they going to be able to survive shutting down again? Or, you know, the restaurants, the breweries, that whole industry. There's no stimulus checks that I've seen. Have you seen anybody getting stimulus checks to help them through this? Have you seen any help for all these people who are going to be unemployed and out of work? Because I haven't this time through. So, I mean, his point's real. You know, I'm really, really nervous for what's going to happen because, to his point, I mean, I get why. I understand it, and I see the numbers just like you all do. But I think we all better be concerned about this. Wear a freaking mask. I don't need a mask. Wear your mask. Wear your mask. All right, I haven't told you yet why last night's TV, Boise State, Colorado State bothered me. I'll do that next. What do you got?
A little far under you. You have an issue. Jeff Siembieda has an issue with Fox Sports, and he's going to tell you why.
Well, it wasn't only me. I'll tell you that, too. It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM at AM 610 Sports Animal.
Clock at 6. They get it. Barnes Tompkins fires. Yes! Pass up court. This for the win. Blocked by D.
It's his second field goal. He's got 4 points. Watson, though, goes all the way.
Hit the deck, I should say. Cordova tried to throw it off. Romero, a 3 for...
Set out to Jutapia. Nice move behind his back. It's a good... Here's Ramos, step back, high arcing, playing it!
Well, he needed to get his legs back under him.
Ooh, little kick.
They leave it one more time to Hammer.
Look at this, they're going to go score again. Look at this.
Up top! Yes! And the finish for Akbayosi. Saved into the hands of Riak, ahead of the pack to Davina Lovato. Up high, down hard for Akbayosi. Out of the corner, Casals, the 3-0, Katenge! Let me clean up the mess! He dropped out of the rafters for that one, Steve. Let's see if Melfi can cash it in. He's got some protection. Deep ball, Erickson's open. Touchdown, Monarchs.
Second and 10. Smith looking, and he's going to fire over the middle, and he's got his guy, and it's another big play. Walking away for a touchdown, Tristan Altier.
They're going to hand it off to Chavez. Chavez breaking tackles. Look out. Chavez up the sideline. Stays in bounds. Touchdown. Volcanovic.
That replay,
I got you.
Measurement. I mean,
Smith's got a fire on first down, and he's on the outside. There's a lot of room for Brad Thomas. A move, and he's set free. Dance into the end zone. Touchdown. So it goes.
He'll run with it. Stumbling. Gets down into the end zone. They're looking to throw it. And he throws it in the end zone. Caught!
First and 10 from the 11. And spin move for Smith. Push the B button. Dance into the end zone.
They'll throw it. Looking. Here comes the rush. Stepping up. Pavia now running around. Being chased. Looks across. Throws it up, man's wide open. Ball is caught. Touchdown. Siembieda. Chavez dropping, looking, stepping up. He's going to run. He's got a lot of green in front of him. To the end zone. Touchdown. Rio Rancho, Isaiah Chavez. Chavez set. He's going to run with it again and dives and...
It's Austin Smith, and to the outside, a lot of room. Look out, a foot race down the sideline. All the way on the first play from scrimmage, Chris. That's a touchdown.
Scrambling. And great hit. He bounces off outside. Got some daylight at the 20, the 10, the 5. What an incredible run.
In any major sport in this country, Jeff Passan tweeted this, and Mike had just said this along, forget baseball. A woman has never been the general manager of a major American professional sports team until Kim Ng was hired by the Miami Marlins today. So their CEO is Caroline O'Connor. So the Marlins' 3 highest ranking officials are 2 women and an ex-shortstop. That is, you can't over-exaggerate the history on what that means. And that's going down, that just came down from Jeff Passan. Opening drive, Jeff, JJ, and Micah. JJ, I think that's a pretty big deal. Now, I'm going to, obviously, these women know their stuff, and they're very qualified. Never before, and that's barrier stuff.
It's huge, because you don't have to have been a professional baseball player to run an organization or to understand the game or to see talent. And I think that's evident by the fact that I never played in the NFL, and what do I do all week? I talk about the NFL. I learn the game. I try to break it down. And so in positions of power in sport, I think if you're good at what you do, whether it's business-wise, understanding talent, relying on others, Doesn't matter your background, doesn't matter your gender. Can you get the job done? Let's go.
Les says, couldn't disagree with Grady more, Jeff. The problem is 99.9% of us cannot quarantine in a Vegas hotel for 2 months for our jobs. We can't all bubble and eat rainbow stew while staying 6 feet apart. Okay? Like there's no absolutes on this. There's just not. All right. So I watched the game last night. Oh, go ahead.
No, I'm ready. I'm waiting. I'm excited. I want your fire. What happened?
So I can't sit here and tell you I watched the whole thing. I was kind of more on the NFL game and then flipped over and watched during the breaks watched the Boise State Colorado State game, and I forgot that it started at 6, and so I didn't catch the beginning. But every time, the first 4 times I flipped over, the announcers were just making mistakes. Like the biggest one is they just call them Boise. And I know, and I was texting with the guy, my buddy who runs a famous Idaho Potato Bowl. I said, don't people in Boise, it's Boise, not Boise, hate that. It's Boise State, not Boise. He's like, yeah, but it's common. Like, this is... Fox is new, and their announcers are new. You would think that they would take the time to make me think that they learned this league, that they think this league is worthy. It's not just I do Pac-12 games, but I'm doing this Thursday night Boise game. So that bothered me that they kept calling Boise. The play-by-play guy called Colorado State Wyoming. I mean, I get they're close to each other, but they're rivals. They're not the same. And Wyoming's setting up for a field goal here, right before they blocked one of them and returned it for a touchdown. They got Bachmeier's aim, called him Shane Bachmeier. He's Hank Bachmeier. Like, we all make mistakes. Don't get me, I've done it, man. I've done play-by-play. I know how hard it is. But it sounded to me like they were new to this league and so horribly minorly prepared. Is that
It's okay. Preparation, man. It's key, because what you got to realize is the people that are watching that game know everything.
That's my point.
You're not going to necessarily present something new to them, so you need to just be knowledgeable about said teams and conference. I get that. I understand where you're coming from. Like, when we're watching a Mountain West game on these networks, I have a different reaction than I do others, because I'm like, well, no, you're talking about it in a way that might have made sense a couple years ago, but that's not who this team or this league is now. It's all about preparation and understanding who is viewing that game. Specifically, if you're doing a group of 5 game, people are watching, know what they're watching.
I never felt that when I watched the games on ESPN last year, and certainly not certainly, and as well on CBS Sportsnet, that they view the Mountain West games as something less. That I'm a guy, I do Pac-12 games, I do Big 12 games. Oh, I got this New Mexico Nevada game today. Like, I've never felt listening to that these guys feel like they're coming down and I'll prepare for my Saturday game, and I don't know what their assignment was. These guys on Saturday, maybe they get a Mountain West. I don't even know. I don't even know who they were.
1 minute.
All I know is I was in listen to it, and I felt like I know more about these two teams than these guys, and I didn't prepare for this game.
I can call some games, Fox Sports, CBS Sports. You need me, I'm here. Let's go Mountain West.
Just saying. All right, thanks to Nick Nee for being with us today. Alden, Josh, great work on the ProView side today. You can watch us on ProView Networks every day now. Micah, Trevor Lawrence, you're sitting out this week? Get better. Jim Rome Show is next. Yeah, Jim Rome Show is next. Dan Patrick Show after that. Sports Bar with Trulio and Carlisle at 3. JJ, enjoy the weekend.
Y'all as well.
Be good to each other, please. Be kind, loving, caring, and sharing. We'll see you at 7 a.m. on Monday.
Second fielder has got 4 points. Watson, though, goes all the way.
Hit the deck, I should say. Cordova tried to throw it off. Romero, a 3 for...
Set out to Jutapia. Nice move behind his back. It's a good...